Hey everybody, man, it is cold. It's cold. Well, it's not cold compared to a lot of up north states, but it is cold for me. Um, y'all chime in if y'all can hear me. Y'all chime in. Is anyone there? Uh, Hello everybody. We're gonna be having an awesome, awesome show today. We got Brother Rico. It's gonna be on. Manuel, maybe I think my cousin might be on. Nicole, she might be on. So we got a lot of people on, and we're just talking about today, like what is living all about, and what are we doing, and how do you feel? What is living to you? So that's what we're gonna be talking about today. So you guys make sure y'all hear me? Y'all give me the thumbs up if y'all can hear me. Um, y'all check in, say your name, say where you calling from are listening in from. That's what I was trying to say. Uh, we got Brother Rico. He's gonna be on today, and we got everybody loves Rico. Everybody loves Brother Rico. So Brother Rico be on today, and who else will be on today? Manuel be on today, and Nicole be on today. Pimp Boy BK, what's going on, man? It is chilly here in Louisiana. So how you doing, man? How's everything going? Um, we're gonna have a good time today. We're gonna talk about just improving your life, improving my life. Everybody's just talking about what makes you happy, what makes me happy, what makes Dominicans happy, what makes Manuel happy. Brother Rico, since he's retired, what makes him happy. So I'm going to tell you what makes me happy. So one thing is living in the Dominican Republic, and then with all these surgeries I had and all these rods and screws in my neck, this weather, like, it's not freezing outside, but my body just cannot take this cold weather. So y'all give me the thumbs up if y'all can hear me all right. Pimp Boy, can you hear me? Miss Dakota, how are you? Um, Watching from, wow, where is that? Help me out with this country. Is that I don't even know what country that is. What country is that? I can't see the flag. I don't know. I can't see it that well. But is that? I'm not gonna say the name. I don't know what flag that is. But Quan 1993. What's up, brother? Hope all is well. It's not. It feels like It looks like it's freezing here in Louisiana, but it's not. I just get cold real easy. And United Kingdom. I was gonna say something crazy. I recognize it now. You guys have an awesome flag. United Kingdom. Uh, Stephen Cruz. What is up, Coach? It was 28 here in Connecticut. Wow. I don't know what the weather. Let me see what the weather is in Louisiana. Current temperature. It's 40. It's 48 here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So uh, I would probably die if I was in 28-degree weather. But yeah, um, I remember playing those days and playing baseball with the Yankees in Connecticut and Norwich, Connecticut, in New York, Albany, and the Catskills. Man, it was so cold. I wanted to quit baseball a couple of times. It was so cold in up north. Anyway, uh, y'all can hear me, Quan. What's going on? Yes, yes, with the beanie on, man. I am just cold, man. Just cold. Anyway, Manuel is logging in. Let me bring Manuel in. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Hey, why you not all wrapped up? Are you not cold?
You never seen snow in my life.
That is crazy. So what's the coldest you think it's ever been in the Dominican Republic?
Nah.
What's
Now December is gonna be like it's like the coldest month ever, and
uh-huh.
that's probably let's say maybe 24 degrees Celsius.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yeah, that's the coldest. You
Wow,
you know
wow.
we only have one cold place in the Dominican Republic, and I think you've been there. Is Constanza. I don't think you've been there yet.
I don't think I have. I
Yeah,
heard
that because it's a mountain. It's a mountain.
it's way up in the
So
mountains.
yeah, so that yeah, that's a little that's cold. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So yeah, has it ever snowed in the Dominican Republic? Have you ever heard of
Think it. Yo, what are you asking? Think again.
that? I mean, maybe way up in the mountains. I'm just saying. No, no, it's never snowed. No.
Nah, this is Caribbean, brother. No
Yeah,
snow.
yeah. Okay, gotcha, gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah.
have fog.
Really? Oh,
If you
yeah,
way
you
up
have
in the
fun.
mountain,
Yeah.
yeah, you can see that, but no snow, bro.
Never, no snow. So yeah,
Nah.
when you come to the United States, man, you're gonna yeah, I'm gonna have to introduce you to some snow.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fun. It's fun in the beginning, but I'm telling you, it's not fun if you just got to live and go to work back and forth from school and stuff like that. So yeah, yeah. Quan 1993 said, "Did you guys see the craziest snowstorm in Buffalo?" No, I didn't, but I heard it is freezing in Buffalo. Oh man, Brian Dawson, what's going on, man? Hope all is well. Man, brother Rico is gonna be on with us today, so that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, yeah, Rico.
Yeah, yeah. So Quan, 1993, I thought the Yankees played in Tampa. Yeah, spring training is in Tampa, but in the minor leagues, you have 4 or 5 minor league teams, and they're spread out. They're in Norwich, Connecticut, Columbus, Ohio, Oneonta, New York, uh, Greensboro. They may have changed, but you got about 4 or 5 different minor league teams in in every uh, in NBA. I mean, not NBA, Major League Baseball team organization. How's the Spanish going, John? I'll really be focusing on Spanish. I got this app, brother. I've been working on my Spanish. That's a great question. What's this? The lingo or something? I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's a
Yeah,
popular one. Yeah, yeah. You
yeah.
can.
That's the one. That's
Yeah, that works. You can learn.
yeah, 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 yeah. So I'm gonna really focus on that, and I'm gonna have fun learning Spanish, man. I'm gonna put my mind to it, and I'm gonna do it. Man, Pimp Boy said he just watched the Dominican cemetery video. Man, thank you so much for doing that video for us, man. I really appreciate it. A lot of people had questions. I'm pretty sure people are gonna have questions today about, about the cemetery. One person asked about cremation. Do they have a lot of people cremated in the Dominican Republic, and is
You
that
you you
necessity?
have the option, but people don't do it. You have the option, but people
Really?
don't do that. It's part of the culture. People in the Dominican Republic, people don't like that.
Why is that? You know?
I don't know. I think we people. It's not just the Dominican Republic. I think Latin America people are very jealous with the dead ones.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they don't. They see cremation as a disrespect to the loved ones.
Okay, like a
Yeah, yeah,
disrespectful.
yeah. Like you are destroying the person you loved. That's the way
Gotcha.
they see it. That's the
That
way,
makes sense. Yeah.
and that's not ignorant. That's just the culture.
Right. That's the culture. And I respect that. I respect that. We got to bring Quan 1993. We got to bring Manuel to New York during January. It's crazy during January.
Yeah, I've heard.
Yes, yes, yes. Buffalo is getting 5 inches of snow this weekend. Wow. Hmm. Uh, let's see. What is the fellas manual? Well, I guess he was saying what's up. Wiley, what's going on, man? Hope all is well. Oh man. Oh, bro, let me say this real quick. We are really focusing on getting those gloves, guys. I have a this. These are the gloves I'm talking about right here. If you guys can ship these gloves, you can get them at Walmart. You can get them at Amazon. These are the gloves right here. This one is this is just a small T-ball glove. This one even came with the little ball in it, but I have my own set of balls that I didn't mean to say it like that. I have my own set of balls that I'm gonna be using. But yeah, what happened? So yeah, these are the gloves and the shirts right here. This is what we need right here: youth t-ball gloves and red youth t-shirts and youth navy blue t-shirts. If you guys can pack those up and pack some gloves up, and send them to the Dominican Republic. And the address is right here. Send it to Manuel. Manuel. That's right, right, Manuel. Okay, I
Yeah,
said
that's right. That's right.
and that's the address right there. And guys, we will definitely appreciate it. So I think Brother Rico is going to be coming on real soon. Let me go back to some of these questions. Okay, let me ask you this real quick before I go to the questions. What is living to you? What is living? That's the topic today. What do you consider living?
I think
Mhm.
life
I'm listening.
life begins where fear ends.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think. I mean, the sometimes um the greatest fear in the world. That's what I think. That's what I think. The
Yes,
greatest fear in the world is the opinion of others. And the moment you are unafraid of the crowd, then you become a lion.
I like
So
that.
just do what you want to do. I mean, just if you like something, you have to try to do that as much as possible. Because at the end, if you don't, then the regret is gonna destroy your is going to destroy you emotionally.
Do you think money has a lot to do with living, like being
It,
happy and living?
when I was a kid, money was not a big deal, but now in this society, money is definitely part of happiness. Why? Because society forces you to pursue money much more than happiness. You are more concentrated in making money, a lot of money, so you can sustain a fake happiness.
I
Because
think
no one really cares if you're happy or not. They just care if you have money, and that's
right.
society. Yeah, but I don't think that money buys happiness.
Gotcha. Yeah, I agree with you, brother. I definitely agree with you. Hold on, brother Rico's trying. I think he's trying to come in. Hold on one second. But send him the link. All right, I'm putting the link in below. Okay, I'm putting it on the channel. Okay. Thanks, boy. Yeah, Rico's trying to get in. But man, in the United States, money is huge here, and a lot of people think that you have to have a lot of money to what is living comfortable to you? What is living comfortable to you as far as money? I mean, are you? Let me ask you this way: are you working as hard as you can to make as much money as you can? And if not, why not?
I'm actually not working as hard as I can right now.
And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing.
That's
So
not
why,
a
why
bad
not?
thing. I'm making. I just purchased. Well, I purchased last year a piece of land, a
Hmm.
big one that I found an opportunity, and I bought the land,
Hmm.
and eh, I am planning to build probably a house there.
Okay, in San
I can do
Cristobal.
more than one house in San Cristobal.
Hmm.
So I'm not rich, so I'm very far from being rich.
The only
And
person that's
with
rich on here is Rico.
Rico,
He's a
Rico
multi-millionaire.
is
Yeah, yeah.
he's
Hey,
the
brother
only
Rico.
wealthy.
Yeah.
I'm far from it. I'm far from it.
No, man. Hey, man, this is gonna be a great topic. Like,
Yeah.
what is living like to you in your mind?
I mean, that's a real, I mean, it's a great question, but it's a hard question to
Broad
answer.
question.
Well, the reason why I say is because I think because I'm a little bit older than you guys,
Hmm.
not saying that I know more, but I'm saying like things that I look at what's living to me today, I wouldn't have thought that was living to me 20 years ago. So I think as we transition through life, we realize like things that I valued tremendously when I was younger, I don't care about anymore.
Right.
But that's part of what we learn from living.
Well, I
Because
I tell you this, I feel like that it brings me back to the 1980s and 1990s when I'm in the Dominican Republic. It
Mhm.
brings it refreshes me, and it's like people are not hustling. It's not hustle and bustle. Not everywhere. I know they have a lot of hustle and bustle in the Dominican Republic, but for me, it's like everything slows down. Everybody's like bringing food to your house, and everybody's sitting down on the porch and laughing and joking. And I don't even know Spanish, but I'm laughing and joking with them. So it's just like that's the feeling that I get, and it seems like that's living to me.
Well, but if you think about it though, John, like you said and said that you put it you juxtapose it or put it in the position of the 1980s and 90s. And you're talking about obviously you were in America. So you're saying like in the 80s and 90s, America seemed like the DR is today.
Right.
We were moving at a slower pace.
Right.
But why we are the way we are today isn't just because we're American, it's because of the technology and all the stuff that's going on. So I think like we fail to realize how much society dictates subconsciously what we do and what we strive for. Like Manuel said, like, I think we have to have money. Yeah, because society tells us we have to have money. But for a lot of us, money doesn't make us happy. Money doesn't make me happy. I just feel like I have to have it because I have to have it to provide the basic standard of living that myself and my family have become accustomed to.
Right.
But sometimes I'm like, I'm miserable with money. It makes more people depend on you and rely on you. So
let me say this. You just made a great point, Manuel. You chime in on this also. When I bring people to the Dominican Republic, family, friends, and everything, they always say, "Man, these people live so poor. They're so poor." And that's the word I hear. Like, I feel sorry for these people. They're so poor. And then I've been living there for almost 3 years now, and I see that they don't think like they live poor, and they don't feel sorry for themselves. Am I right, Manuel?
Yeah, you're totally right. I agree with Rico. If you go back in time, you will remember that back in the days, you did not need so much material stuff to be happy. But as society progresses and progresses, it demands more and more and more and more, and technology has a huge impact. So now happiness for young people, maybe not for you, maybe not for Rika, but for a lot of people, um, happiness has been translated to likes and followers. And that's happiness now. I want to be accepted online and blah, 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 blah. However, the environment plays a big role in happiness. Let's say if you go to Africa, you have people they have never they don't even know what's internet, right?
Right.
So they don't need it because you don't need what you don't know that exists. And these people are happy hunting and doing whatever they have to do. They have a normal life, they have no problem at all. But if you move one of those people to America, they are going to need more and more stuff, and they will remember, God damn it, I was happy before. I got money now, but I'm just working. I'm just making money. So the environment will always demand happy. It'll depends on the environment you are. In the Dominican Republic, we don't pay that much money for rent. We don't have to pay so much taxes like you guys. So we don't have that pressure to make as much money as you in order to fit in society.
Well,
Does that make sense?
One thing I will say that I think that as an American, as a foreigner, that we have to be careful when we say, "Oh, they're just happy being poor," because like you guys are in San Cristobal, right? However, 45 minutes away is Santo Domingo.
You're saying it wrong, Rico. You're saying it wrong.
Cristobal.
No, you're saying it wrong. Let me correct you. I know how to say it now. San Cristobal.
Listen to Manuel. Now he's correcting people, right?
It's San Cristobal.
San Cristobal. Okay.
I'm messing with you. Go ahead.
I know you because I heard him get on you about it. I was like, oh, now he getting me.
Go ahead. I'm messing with you. Go ahead.
But what I was thinking of, because when you think about it, so in San Cristobal, right?
Yeah, that's right.
One world. However, Santo Domingo, 45 minutes to an hour away, is a whole nother world. You know what I'm saying? With all of the modern, like you say, that's the country. You have all the modernness and So what happens is, and as Manuel said, with the young people, part of like even I even kind of look at it like even in Dominican society. So it's driving a young kid in San Cristobal who coming up and maybe he's taking computer classes. Well, I want a job doing computers. I don't want to do farming like everybody else does. You know, my interest is something different. Well, now because you do have these spaces all throughout the country in different places, whether it's Santo Domingo, Punta Cana, Santiago, you know, Cabarete. Now these kids, unfortunately, if they didn't have access to that, because everybody in the DR, no matter what anybody say, they might be poor, but they all got damn cell phones. They all got cell phones. And those cell phones are all connected to the internet. So the days of the genie not being out of the bottle is gone because young kids, they're all day.
Not a lot of young kids have it. Like Darlene and Jasmine, they want cell phones, but they don't have.
Well, once they get it, it's over.
That's
it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? Once that door's open, and it's going to get open to them.
Right.
Because like you said, she wants it, and like she's gonna work and work and work until she gets it. So it's already created the cycle in their mind because those without are aching for that. And that's the door, that's the gateway drug.
That's right.
A cell phone.
I agree with
that's
you.
the gateway
and
to
you can
the
watch
internet,
anything. You can
social
watch,
media,
you can watch porn on there, you can watch anything.
IG, Facebook. It's over at that point. Hey, you probably do better with the older generation that's too old for social media, that just don't even want to believe in it. But the younger generation, they're hooked on it. They're going to get hooked on it in school. So while they may live in a physically poor environment, the need, the yearning to wanting access to these things, it's growing in them.
That's right.
And when I look at like seeing the DR, so what some of the burdens or pressures that's probably on young people, it's like, okay, I can get a job in San Cristobal, or I can get a better job in Santo Domingo. So now I got transportation issues, or I have to move out. It's more affordable in San Cristobal than it is in Santo Domingo. It's safer in San Cristobal than it is in Santo Domingo. So when you just look at even those two cities in the same country, there are wide differences. So you don't even have to take it outside of the DR. I see in the area where I live compared to, you know, the poorer areas on the outside. I'm like, it's night and day. It's in the same country, but roads, you know, hospitals, just a lot of infrastructure, and they all yearn to want to come to be in the other spaces. So I just think it's a little bit, we sit on the outside and we always go, oh, they just happy they have it. I'm like, no, they're not. They want more. They're content with it. They're not going to cry that they don't have more, but don't say that they don't want it.
That's right. That's right.
Give them the opportunity. Hell yeah.
Right. What do you feel about that, Manuel?
Oh, well, yeah, he's right. He's definitely right. But as I said, it'll always depend. As society progresses, it'll demand more and more and more, and it will always depend on the kind of environment that you have. So if you live in San Cristobal, you don't have certain things that you need to survive in Santo Domingo, because if you live in Santo Domingo, you need more stuff to fit in society there. And it happens, let's say, if you live in New York, you need certain things, but if you live in Kentucky, you live different things, right?
Right. Hey, let me ask you this. We're going to move back and forth on these subjects. So you did a wonderful job with the cemetery piece, man. Thank you so much. But I know Brother Rico had a couple questions, and everybody has some questions about the cemetery, because you did good in those 8 minutes. But like this is one question. Cole Carter says, do Manuel have any loved ones buried at that cemetery? You do, right?
Of course.
Yeah,
that's the cemetery of San Cristobal. We have a couple of them, but that's like
the main
that's like the main one. That's the big one. So in the video, I show you where my uncle was going to be buried. So that little house belongs to my family. So my father is there, my grandpa is there, everybody's there.
So does that fill up, and then do they take they take the bodies out and cremate them, or how does that work? So once their bodies are in there, that's it for good, or how
It
does that work?
depends. If you can purchase another house, another little house, as I call it, you
Right.
can do it. If you don't have the money to do it, what they're gonna do, they will take the oldest
Mm-hmm.
corpse. They take the bones out and everything.
Right.
They put it in a bag, and they put it in the back of the little hole. So
Okay.
the new coffin, they put it in front of it. Poof.
Okay,
That,
gotcha.
let's say you don't have the money to afford another one.
Right. So they kind of put do they cremate? Do they like make it into ashes, or they just take the bones and just put it in?
They just take the bones, to put it in like in a bag of stuff. They know what they do. So i- that the box is is not wide, but it's large. So
Mm-hmm.
they take the bag with the bones, they put it in the back, and then in front of it they put the new coffin.
Yes, I got you. Well, Brother Rico, you had a question about the cemetery?
Well, the only question I really had, because I heard somebody ask about the cremation thing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask sort of like the question that we were talking about the other day. So since I know, like you said, they're not big on cremation there, and I guess like the houses, what would y'all call them in Louisiana? Mausoleums, John? Is that what y'all call them? You know, New Orleans, they have those burials above. That's the only place I know in the U.S. where they do it a lot.
Mausoleums. That's it.
Mausoleum.
That's
They
it.
do it everywhere, but usually in the U.S. they put us in the ground,
Right.
in the
And
dirt. But
yeah, we're a little different because we're under sea level here in
right.
Louisiana.
So
Right.
pretty much New Orleans is the only place where you see that being widely done. Mausoleums everywhere. But my question was, so I heard the cremation thing was me and John was talking about our actual holiday, Memorial Day, and it used to be a holiday where people used to frequently go to visit their loved one. So is that a big thing that people do in the DR? So, for example, how often do you go visit your deceased relatives, or
We
do
have a
you?
yeah, we have a national day,
Okay,
the dead one, El Día de los Muertos. That's the dead one holiday.
okay,
Uh, so everybody go to the cemetery that day. But you
okay.
can but you can visit your loved one anytime you want.
Right, right. But I'm like,
Yeah,
that's a day that do a lot of people do it on that day?
yeah, a lot of people do it. A lot of
Okay.
people go there with flowers and
Mhm.
stuff, candles, and they pray.
Okay.
I go like 3 times a year,
Okay.
because the day of the dead ones, I
Mhm.
go. I go with some of my uncles, once a year to paint the
Mhm.
house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for
Okay.
maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Fix the
That's awesome.
flowers and cut the grass and stuff like that. Okay.
Exactly.
We used to do it a lot here. We used to 20, 30 years ago, but now
Yeah.
people don't go. They
People
just
don't do it
don't.
like they
And,
used to. That's that.
yeah,
You're absolutely right.
and we actually do have a holiday for it. And you know what people do? They cook out and drink.
That's right.
We go to the
Yeah,
cemetery.
yeah. You know, in Mexico, the Day of the
Mhm.
Dead one, that's a
Mhm.
super national holiday. That they take it very, very serious.
Yeah, I
Right.
heard about
They
that.
they cook they cook at the cemetery.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't we used to do that in America because the holiday was created for that.
For that, right?
And something like maybe 20, 30 years ago, people just stopped going. So now we
Absolutely.
celebrate the holiday, but
Yeah,
no one leaves their backyard. They just go
yeah,
outside and barbecue and drink. I'm like, well, anybody going to the cemetery?
right.
No.
And that's what my mom said. She said she remembered it, but that's kind of faded out. It just don't
Yeah,
do it anymore.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, I got to step away for a second, but y'all read that question and y'all take over for a second. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, as you were saying, Rico, as society progresses, the new generation takes over. So the new generations, they don't care about that holiday, so it fades out, and then they do something else, and that's how history works.
Right.
One generation takes over, and then what used to be traditional is not traditional anymore, and that's how traditions disappear.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's what I was just saying is that I think, like I said, sometimes we on the outside we look. It's funny, like in America, we have all these things that's changing constantly, and we don't believe that other countries do the same thing. I'm like, they do the same thing. They just do it a little
Mm.
bit slower. They may be a little
Mhm.
bit behind us, but they're changing, like you said, their traditions and their beliefs and their structure. Because I even looked at like which I used to think would never be widely accepted in Latin America, was like, just like the LGBT. And I was like,
Mhm.
when I saw, like, when I went to Costa Rica, it was like, oh, they were one of the first. I was like, they approved it here, and it's a big thing. So I was like, you can't say that they don't change, because they do things that you would have never thought they would do.
Yeah,
Like, shit, they did it, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they protected class and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, we have the LGBT community, but when it comes to like gay marriage, we don't have that yet because in Congress we still have the old generation is the dominating one. But
Mhm,
once a new generation takes over Congress,
mhm.
then it'll be approved
Yeah,
because Christianity is part of our culture.
right.
So the Bible.
Hmm.
So we still have that old Congress
Hmm.
um, dominating, and that's not going to be approved as long as we stay conservative.
Yeah.
But in a couple of years, it'll be approved. It'll happen the same with marijuana.
Hmm.
We still are very conservative when
Yeah.
it comes to marijuana, right? We are very conservative. But in 10 years, it'll be approved because
Yeah.
probably in 10 years, I'll be in Congress and I will approve it.
Because I
Yeah.
know, like, I think Big Poppy's trying to bring. I saw he was trying to do something to get the government to approve. He wanted to bring a marijuana company there.
Uh-huh.
Because it's good for medicinal purposes. So they'll probably do the same way it did in the U.S. We
Yeah.
didn't just open it up for people to smoke recreationally. We started with, okay, if you're having certain pains, so it's going to take the doctor to say, oh, it's good for people with eye disease or people
Mhm.
with stomach disease. It helps with, it's a good pain control for people that, instead of giving you opioids and being addicted, just smoke a little pot. Makes the pain go away, makes the medicine go down better. And once they start to accept it, like you said, they will change. That's another great one. And I do find, like you said, not just the DR, but like all Latin countries, especially the ones that's heavy on Catholicism, to be very conservative on the surface,
Yeah.
but underneath, they doing everything.
You know how it is.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
you know how it
oh,
is.
they're very Catholic. I'm like, yeah, publicly. Privately, they doing it all.
Yes, definitely. Also, Big Papi, and for those that don't know who's Big Papi is, he's David Ortiz.
Right.
He used to be a baseball player for Boston.
Hmm.
He invested a lot of money in a weed company in the United States.
Hmm.
So he knows that he cannot bring the company here because it is illegal.
Hmm.
However, he just recommended that if you guys approve it, I'll bring this business over here.
Yeah.
But here's one thing. Number one, Christianity, they're very conservative, but also they're very corrupted. If you legalize marijuana, then the business of corruption is going to be over
Hmm.
when it comes to drugs, of course. Because if it's legal, you are just going to pay the taxes and whatever you need. You don't have to bribe politicians to traffic whatever you have to traffic.
Hmm.
It's not convenient to the politicians that it that marijuana is legal.
And because, and people, like I said, I don't think in the DR that they, obviously they don't grow cocaine or anything of that, but there's a huge drug trade that comes through the island.
Of course, we are the
Huge,
main. We are. Well, let me tell
huge.
you something. Let me tell you
I'm
something.
always seeing it in the news, the
Yeah.
Diablo Libre. I was like, they're having drug. I was like, hell, because I think it's one of the main conduits. If you can't come up through Mexico, through the Caribbean. So I'm like, people sitting there thinking like,
Yeah.
they don't have drugs. And I'm like, y'all are crazy. They
We are
have,
the bridge. We
yeah.
are the bridge.
Hmm.
So we are not the final destination.
Exactly.
U.S. is the
It's
final
the final
destination.
destination.
Exactly. We are just the bridge. And if any drug, when it comes to cocaine, for example, if it's
Hmm.
going to Europe, it has to come through the Dominican Republic. So we control the routes in the
Hmm.
Caribbean.
Yeah.
If you want that to go from point A from point B, you need to
Hmm.
talk you need the connections in Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico.
Yes.
And the one, if you want, if you have drugs in Puerto Rico and you want to send it to the U.S., you can use Dominican routes,
Hmm.
and to so they can go to point A to point B. But
Right.
it does not mean that we control the whole route. So you
Now.
need connections in Mexico. You
Yep.
put it in Mexico. Mexico takes it.
Hmm.
You have to pay the fee
Yep.
to go through the border.
Yeah.
That's how it
Each stop
works.
of the way. Yeah, and
Every
then you got to have the connects in the U.S. when it lands for the district. But that's why I just sit there and try to say it's like, and I was like, I try to tell people like, I don't know how y'all don't notice this stuff is reported even in the Dominican papers. They
Yeah,
report,
yeah.
so just like in
Mhm.
the U.S., whatever they catch, for everyone they catch, 9 gets away. That's the same thing in the
Yeah,
U.S. Oh, they
yeah, but
100 pounds of cocaine in the U.S. border. Okay, 900 pounds got in.
yeah,
They don't care.
in order for that to work, you need to be connected to the politicians. That's the
Mhm.
only way it can be successful.
Yeah,
How can someone like El Chapo Guzman, you know who's Chapo Guzman,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Stay in business for so long? The state has the power to destroy anybody. The
Hmm.
only reason why he was in business for so long is because he was benefiting I mean the politicians. That's how you get the power. And here, those big drug dealers,
Hmm.
they are connected to the politicians. That you need to have the right connection so it work. You need to have people in the in the um in the army, like the Marines that control the
Hmm.
water. You need to have connections with the police. You need to have connections so they can give you the green light so you can operate. It happens everywhere, and US is not the exception.
Yeah. Now, look, I do got a real serious question to ask you about your country. Uh, why the hell don't they have sewer systems? Because I know you guys just had this big flooding. All of Santo Domingo was like half of Santo Domingo was underwater. Really, they said it was like all over the country from what was the storm that came after Fiona? Whatever the hurricane was, because it dumped so much rain. And I know all the time when we're in Punta Cana, it's like, damn, when it rained, it's just like, and I would tell, when my son's in it, like actually will be there this weekend. It's like they don't have sewer. So a lot of places when the water hits, it's nowhere for it to go. You just have to wait. And I thought it was just like in our area. I didn't realize it was that bad. Like, damn, Santo Domingo's the capital. How is
Right.
the capital underwater? And I think some like 8, 9 people got
Well,
washed away and drowned and died.
that's a good question.
So, and
Yeah.
it just seemed to be like all over the country. And I'm like, and I never done. I was like, I don't see any sewers anywhere. There's
You have any? Is that more in the like the Red Sea area or like where the tourist area is? Is
it's
it?
everywhere I've been.
Well, he's totally right. In Zona Colonial, you will never see flood because they do have sewer system in La Zona Colonial. You've been there. There is no flood in there. They are
Okay.
actually close to the ocean. So all the
Mhm.
water just
Goes back
goes to
out
the
to the
ocean. And but when it comes to the city, Santo Domingo, some places in San Cristobal, the city started growing so fast, and the process of the sewer system was slower than the growth of the city.
Yeah.
Constructions started happening, a lot of money coming in, buildings, malls, blah blah blah, and
They
no
never
one said, "Hold on, we have to fix the sewer system first."
right,
But as I said, as you know, money. Politicians say want money.
right,
You want the permits to build that big tower? Here it is. Pay me. Do it. I don't give a fuck if you do a sewer system. So
Right.
that's why you see we have grown so much in a short amount of time,
hmm
and no one actually thought about. Well, I say no one because they haven't done it.
right.
Yeah, they only remember
When
that
it
we don't have a
floods.
sewer system when it rains.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like it's going to fucking rain, guys. It's going to rain.
Or election time, they probably start talking about it, and then they fade
Yeah.
into
Oh,
it.
we're gonna do
We
it.
have we have a storms and hurricanes every fucking year.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
And it
every
floods
year.
like
There
that every
you
year,
go.
right?
That's nothing new. Right. Right. Right.
It's nothing new.
Right.
Yeah.
We're,
Hey,
we're
hey,
actually used to it.
right.
That's what it seems like. It seems like the people just go, all right, they've sort of accepted it, but the worst part about it is the storms are getting worse. They're
Hmm.
dumping more rain, and it's going to cause more loss of life. And I think, okay, I
Yeah,
guess it's
yeah.
going to take it's going to take for one of them big ass buildings to fall down
Right.
from the erosion for them to take it serious. But other than that,
Exactly.
they just don't
Let's
seem
get,
like they care.
yeah, let's get
Mhm.
through some of these questions right here. Dominique Pete says, this is for Manuel. Why do you think the Dominican Republic don't have a lot of guns like the United States? Do you think the Dominican Republic government is very strict on guns?
All right, I have a couple of answers for that.
All right.
Number one, the U.S. they make guns. You guys have factories making guns.
Mhm.
Number two, having a gun is part of your culture. It's on your constitution, right?
Mhm.
It's part of your DNA. Number three, it's very easy to purchase a gun. You can go to a supermarket, let's say Walmart, and you can purchase one, and you don't need so many requirements to purchase a gun. Am I right or wrong, Rico?
You're correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you don't need
so far,
so
100%.
the requirements are not that strict. In here, uh, I'm talking about
You left
legally.
one part
Legally
out.
speaking,
You left one part out, man, with the cost. Because a
yeah,
gun is so much cheaper. The cost between the same gun in the
yes,
US that might be about 500 might be almost 5,000 in the
exactly,
VR.
Right.
exactly, because
Right.
guns are made in the U.S. So you guys are guns factory. It's local for you, so you
Right.
guys make it. So in here is very expensive. That's one. Number two, you have to be 31 years old to legally purchase a gun.
Really, in the
Yeah,
Dominican, I did not
31. You
know
have to be 31 years
Wow.
old to purchase a gun legally.
and
Like
you
if
got
you
to
want
go
to,
through a class or something, like get a permit or something, right?
you need to get a permit. You will go. Don't remember the name of the office. There is a government office that you need to go to get the permit. They will give you a psychiatrist test, which
What?
obviously is easy to pass because a lot of crazy people that have guns.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, it's easy to pass. I see people. I purchased a gun, and I say, how do you get it? How do you do that? So expensive. Not everybody has access to it.
Right.
You need to go through certain filters to get it.
Right. So yeah,
Yeah.
we need to probably have psychiatric tests here in the United States, but they won't do that. It's all about
They give you a psychiatrist test, like a
Mhm,
test you need to file, and
mhm.
if you pass it, you get it. But I don't think it's a very rough one.
No, it's probably basic questions like
Basic questions, yeah.
if your girlfriend break up with you, will you shoot her? Yes
Would
or
you
no?
shoot her? Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, something like that. So that's good. That's good. Quan 1993. A lot of money to do you have a lot of money to live in the US? At least at least
He's
up
saying
north.
you have to have a lot of money.
Okay, you have to. Yeah, yeah, up north, yes. Is Manuel a gamer? Are you a gamer, Manuel?
He's probably asking because of my headsets, but no, I'm
Right.
not a gamer.
Not a gamer. Okay,
Not a
gotcha.
gamer.
Um, what's today's topic? Hello, Rico, Manuel, and Coach. We're just talking about just living and what makes you happy and what is living to certain people. Um, Quan 1993 says that's because they haven't lived a lavish lifestyle to see the difference. Um, you think that there's a balance right there? In my opinion, there's a balance when it comes down to living and being happy. Shaquille O'Neal said something today. I was reading. He said, I didn't work so hard when I had money because I started focusing on my children and my family, my wife, and all of that stuff. People were saying, well, why you didn't work hard like Kobe Bryant? Why you didn't work hard like Kobe Bryant? And he said, I was working on business and I was working on my children and making sure I was in their life. And I never thought of it like that because, Kobe used to get on Shaquille O'Neal about not working so hard, but that was his excuse. So there's a balance. I have a question for Manuel. Why do you think Dominican kids are not as obsessed with social media like American kids are?
They are. No, no,
Yeah,
no. Yes, they
I have
are.
noticed that. I have noticed that.
Yeah, they are obsessed.
Darlene she grabs my phone and she'll grab it. I'm like, where'd my phone go? She's like, I'm on it, coach. I need it for about 30 more minutes. I'm talking
Yeah.
to somebody. And then when I take that phone away from her, she's kind of like, oh, just how long you gonna be? Can I get the phone right back? And so, but anyway, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Social media is the new drug addiction, but
Yeah,
no one wants to talk about it. But it is an addiction. Every kid in the world with access to internet, they want to have a phone or a tablet. The government gave tablets to all the students here for homework and shit. Do
right.
you think they use that tablet for homework? No, they
No,
don't. They
no.
just do games and shit. Yeah, that's what they do.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I see you guys have a block because when I was with Brenda at the time, they had those free computers and tablets and everything, and they have a block. They can't go on certain sites on that
With the tablets, yes,
on that.
but not with the computer, because the computer is made by the government. So you
Oh,
have some restrictions to avoid watching porn and stuff like that.
yes,
But the
right.
tablets are open because my nephew has one tablet and he's gaming the whole day.
Gotcha.
He's always there.
That's crazy. Here's our Dominican buddy that you talked to last time, Mr. Knight. Saludo, buenas noches. That means good night, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Saludo. He says he has another question. You read this, Manuel.
If you start talking about race, I'm leaving.
I know it. I know it. Good. Yeah, that's what he says.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Oh yeah.
Tell them bye.
We're not talking about race.
How they gonna tell us what to talk about?
Like we talk about race all the time. We don't talk about race all the time. Like that's crazy.
But you tell them to ask the questions. They don't want to ask it, so it's like so. Then we talk about whatever we want.
That's right. That's right.
Right? Okay.
That's right. But thanks for coming in, brother. He always he thinks we talk about race all the time. We don't. I have 320 videos, and maybe 5 or 6 of them talk about race. And he's like, "Stop talking about race."
I think he fussed at me on one of your
Yeah, he did.
streams because he's the magic Taino. I'm like, okay.
That's right. OYG says, Manuel, we have a huge gang issue here in Chicago, Illinois. As of today, the police arrested 300 gang members. Is it like that in the Dominican Republic with gang taking over the Dominican Republic?
Mm-mm. Back in the 90s, we had a lot of Trinitarios and we had Nietas. 90s, early 90s. We don't have that problem anymore.
What were they? What they were like like cartel or drug dealers or something?
Nah, nah, just fight the territory. Trinitarios that was originated in New York, in Rikers Island, in prison.
Okay.
The founder, I knew the founder. He was related to someone close to me. His name was Caballo. It's translated the horse. Caballo, that was his name.
That's what that means. Horse means caballo.
Caballo,
Okay.
horse.
Okay.
So we don't have gang problems, thanks God. In Haiti, they do have a huge problem with gangs.
But Manuel, is it also? But it's because I got some Dominican friends that also tell me, especially in certain particular neighborhoods in Santo Domingo, I don't know if it's gangs, but they have a huge crime problem.
Yeah, but not gangs.
Right. So it may not be gangs, but like stick up boys.
Probably related. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's you have related to drugs.
Yeah, them being shot and the police shooting them and killing them. So I'm like, so like I don't go to certain places because as a you have no business being there.
Yeah.
So I try to tell
you don't have to go there unless you come with me.
No, I'm not going even with you. What I'm saying is I also tell them like some of the poorer parts in those neighborhoods. Because you get people, oh, you can go anywhere. I'm like, no, your ass can't go anywhere.
No.
Don't be believing that they don't have pockets.
That's right.
Out the country and neighborhoods that I know Dominican people don't want to go and live because the poverty is so high and being robbed. So I don't know if it's an organized gang like you. I know Trinitarios is in New York. So like it may be unorganized. But don't think they don't have no gangsters in those parts.
Right.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah, gangsters and gangs. I mean, we don't have gangs. I can tell you that. We used to have gangs like real organized organizations. We don't have that anymore. You have micro trafficking
Right.
in the hoods.
Mhm.
So there is a leader, and you have a couple of followers that they do what the leader says.
Gotcha.
So if you're in one neighborhood, you have a micro trafficking organization,
Mhm.
and someone else wants to own the business,
Mhm.
there is going to be a fight. Sometimes you have two bosses in the same neighborhood. So this side is yours, this side is mine. If you cross this line, we're going to fight. That's the
Right.
kind of thing you have. But like I remember when I was a kid, we used to have gangs like gangs with the collars and shit, like you have
Yeah.
in Chicago,
Right.
collars and
Right.
the stuff with the fingers.
Name signs
We
and
used
stuff. Right.
we
Right.
used to have that. That's a gang for me.
Right.
That's a gang.
I
Like
see what you're right.
like a cult. You
Mhm.
join in.
But
But
didn't they just have a police chief or somebody got shot and killed like a couple of weeks ago?
yeah,
And
that was a retired
He
police
was
officer.
retired.
He got robbed.
Right. He got robbed,
They wanted his gun.
and they took
He
right.
he resisted. They shot him.
oh
Okay.
wow. Wow.
Unfortunately.
That's the story I was reading about, and that's why I was like, guys, just stop. So
Right.
that's why.
Right.
So yeah.
And
Okay.
this is a great question, and I have something to add to this question. Christian Paul says, "Is there any sex trafficking in the Dominican Republic?" And I also want to add to this: is there any like harboring of like bodies for body parts? Have you ever heard of that? So those are the two questions. Is there any sex trafficking, and have you ever
Yes.
seen people?
Yes, we have sex trafficking, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, Venezuelans. Yeah,
Mhm.
but let me tell you this. Sex trafficking is not dominated by Dominican women. You
Okay.
have Colombians, you have Venezuelans, Venezuela.
Haitians,
How do you say it? Venezuelan
Venezuelans,
That's right. That's
or
right.
Venezuelans?
Haitians.
You have Haitians.
Yeah.
That's the dominant female product that
That
they
they-
bring to the country.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yes.
Now, have you ever heard of like people getting caught by having body parts and stuff and selling them on the black market or anything like that in the Dominican?
I don't know about that. Honestly, I
Because
never heard of a
we
someone. Mhm,
we have that problem in the United States where
I don't know.
people take people like teenagers and things like
Yeah,
that, and
We
they
do.
yeah we have yeah, but we have yes we have that problem where people take
yeah.
body parts and they'll sell your organs for 10, 20, thirty
Oh, you
thousand.
talking about like after they died or while they living? What are
I'm
you
talking
talking
about
about?
why they living, and then they'll take them and
You
they'll
mean you mean you
In the
mean you
U.S.?
mean the police found a dead person without a kidney, without a liver?
that's
That's what
right.
you mean, right?
That's
Yeah.
right. That happens in the United States.
Yeah, I've never.
Rico, don't look like you never heard of that before.
I haven't. Not in the U.S. I've heard of it in India.
It
In other countries, poor countries, where people were actually selling their body parts for money. I hadn't heard about it in the DR. I've seen special, but I didn't know that was a problem here in the U.S.
yeah, it's a
I'm
problem.
not saying it's not. I know, put it like this. I know we sell blood.
Right,
We've been doing that forever,
right.
selling blood for money. But I didn't know because I think it's illegal in the U.S. So
Of course, it's illegal. Yeah, to steal a person and take their organs. Yeah,
where
but
the hell are they doing it? That must be a Louisiana thing. They ain't doing that up here in Maryland, John.
you're trying to be funny. You're trying to be
It's in
funny.
Louisiana. That's your part of town.
Have you ever heard of somebody like having some organs missing and they sew them back up or something, Manuel? No.
I
No.
had it in a dead person, a cadaver. So,
Right.
they might steal body parts from a dead person.
Yes. Okay. Well,
Okay, but not living.
yeah. I got you. All
Okay,
right.
John. All right. That's why I'm confused.
They do have it happens sometimes here. There's sex
All right.
trafficking all around the world, but in the Dominican Republic, there's not much trafficking compared to just like you said, Manuel. Mr. Knight is absolutely right. Yeah.
No, he's not.
No, what you mean he not?
Because it's not that it's comparable to everywhere else.
But Manuel just said it's not that much in
No, he
We
said
have
it's not Dominican
we have sex
women,
traffic, but it's
but
not
they have a
Dominicans. It's
lot
more
of
Colombian.
it.
Yeah,
Right.
they bring Colombians, they bring Venezuelans.
And it's a lot of them.
They have apps and internet applications that you can just order. You can
But
arrange the
yeah,
meeting with them.
so it's not accurate to say it's not a lot. It is a lot. I
Yeah,
don't care what time you
I don't know the. Can you go back to the previous comment?
yes.
Yeah, I don't have the statistic to prove him wrong or right. Like
Right.
I cannot tell you if we do it more than in other countries. I don't know because I don't have the numbers.
Gotcha.
However, it does exist in the
And
Dominican
it's a lot.
Gotcha. Manuel, is it cheaper buying your loved ones like that? So I guess they're talking about caskets or something like that, or the tombs or something like that.
Burying your loved ones.
Burying your loved
Because you
ones.
said it's like $8 a month, right?
Yeah, we pay like $8 a month. That's the whole family. We pay that. It's like a membership. Though everybody has a membership at a funeral home. You pay that every month. What I do, I pay the whole year, and I think most people they pay like the whole year. Boom, one payment, and they just pay again next year. So when
So
you
how
die,
much
you don't have.
what would it cost if you had no insurance? Because I know you said it cost a lot more. So what's the price of, okay, you don't have a plan, and
Yeah.
boom,
Um,
how much?
the cheapest coffin that I've heard of, the cheapest one is like $100. That's cheap,
Right.
like
Okay.
very very cheap one.
But you
So
still
on
have,
average, what would a
you have
person
to have
pay
a
for a funeral?
yeah, but
You-
you still have to have a place to bury him. What is the cost for that?
Yeah. So if you don't have a place, they will charge you 5,000, 7,000. Yeah, like $150 at the cemetery. So they will give you one of those boxes,
Hmm.
but that's it's not going to be forever.
Gotcha.
If you don't have one, they will put it there in 5 years. 5 years, they will remove it. If you
Really?
don't purchase, if you don't, they give you 5 years, so you can do whatever you have to do to get your own or pay that in full.
So how much
Gotcha.
That's
does
not,
it cost to buy one?
to one of those little
A house
houses.
or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, that well,
Like the one that you all have.
yeah.
You just you guys just
When we did that one in total, we purchased the land and then we built it. Back in
Okay.
the days, that's now you don't have to build it, just purchase one. But back in the
Okay.
day, it in dollars should be like $2,000. That's the whole
Okay.
cost of it, like $2,000, the whole thing.
The
and you can
land
bury.
Yeah,
and the house.
yeah, the piece of land. Yeah, and you build it. Mhm.
And how many people can you bury in the one that you all have? Is it
We have
four?
we have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 in each side, so it's 6.
So six total. So how many do you have now? Since and my condolences
We
to you.
just have one box left.
One box left.
I don't
Okay.
want to be the one to be there, but we just have one.
But didn't you say something? I heard you say something about somebody paying rent.
hmm Let's say you don't have one. You don't
Yeah.
have anything. You don't have anything ready for
Right.
a burial. You go to the cemetery.
Mhm.
You pay $150,
With a coffin.
and you will rent one of those boxes for 5 years
For 5 years.
for $150. If in
Mm.
So to
5 years,
just roughly, I didn't mean to cut you off, but for roughly, you can have $400 and it'll take care of a whole entire uh
Mhm.
burial and
yeah,
burial.
it'll cost you like $400 if you don't have anything. It'll cost you like $400 to do the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Coffin, rent the box, and everything.
Exactly.
Now, do they put the casket in the car sometime and drive it on over, or they just go ahead and just bring it on
No,
over?
there is a funeral car.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
They put it in. They put it in the funeral car, and they go in low speed on the way to the cemetery, and all of the family in the back follow in the car.
Just like
You
in the
know,
United States.
yeah,
Okay.
follow in the car, slow. Bum, bum. That's how they do it.
But do you all have police officers up front?
For what?
No. Hey, John, I don't even know why you asked that question. No.
Do you need the police in the states to bury someone?
Yes,
we
we
do.
do.
We do for traffic.
We do for
It's
traffic.
more for
Yeah.
traffic because we have a lot of traffic to stop. And
Right,
all
right.
that, but
All right.
But no, I guess you
You
got.
don't need that, bro.
When nobody stop for the police anyway, John. They don't stop for them now.
That's right.
Nah,
Police
you
don't stop nobody.
you don't need none of that.
Yeah. Now, like when you're driving through, is there do you all pay respects? Do people pull over and give the sign of a cross like when the cars are passing by?
Remember, you're going slow. You're not going high speed, so you're going slow in the car. So you will never find any kind of obstruction because you're
So
coming very slow. People know there
let
is
me
a
say it
burial
like this.
coming.
Here's my
Let them
question.
through.
Here's my question one more time. Is there anybody? Do they just stop what they're doing and then just kind of like pay respects to the dead when no.
No, no,
Okay,
no, 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 no.
all right. We do
No.
that sometimes, especially Catholics. They do that. We do that. Maybe
No.
Rico family. Rico's from his family really didn't raise him that well, so he probably don't know how to
Well,
split.
the reason why I say, John, the reason why that sounds like a crazy question is because I'm just thinking about how many times I've seen the ambulance come with somebody dying, they trying to save, and people don't pull over or stop.
That's true.
They don't pull over for anybody.
They supposed
to, but they don't do it. So I'm like, many a
Mhm.
time, I'm just coming, and I'm like, okay, so
Right.
I'm pulling over, and the guy behind me blowing like, what the hell? I'm like,
I'm trying to let the ambulance.
They don't
through.
care.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
No, I was like, they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like,
Um,
okay.
What about if the body isn't all bones yet, brother? Brother Manuel.
What about it?
Like he's saying, like when it's time, I guess, to push the bones to the back, and then put the other body in there. What if it's not?
No, that's why they take the oldest one.
Oh, the oldest one.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be my grandpa. That would be my grandpa if that
Okay.
happens.
Okay.
But I don't think my family is gonna do that because we are able to afford another little house.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There are many poor people in the Dominican Republic who can't afford to bury their families, but there are associations almost all over Dominican Republic that collect money for the diaspora.
Diaspora people from abroad. Hmm.
Okay. So is it like a nonprofit organization?
No, yeah, he's right. He's right. If,
He's
let's
very
say
he's
you don't.
very
Let's
very intelligent. He's very
well,
intelligent.
Well, well,
yeah,
only
he's Dominican. He's
Right.
Dominican.
He's Dominican.
He's Dominican. Yeah.
But I'm going to ask a question because I've seen a couple of instances where, like like the Facebook groups I'm in, where people are like, they're GoFunding for people's funerals too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I kind of question it. Like, it can't be 100% thing because I saw there was a case where
Manuel might not know what a GoFundMe is.
well,
I,
GoFundMe.
I know where it is.
Okay,
I'm
so
sorry. I apologize.
I'm literally seeing where the husband killed the mother and they got 2 kids and now they can't bury the mother and they're GoFunding. So they asking even expats and people are making donations to it as well. So I'm like, okay, is that a hustle? Is it legit? It seems like it's pretty legit because it's usually an expat that's raising the money to give to the family.
I
Right.
don't really know about like anybody doing a GoFundMe for a burial. That probably I don't know. I've never
Yeah,
heard of it.
I don't know.
If you don't, yeah, if you let's say you don't have the money, you're totally broke.
Mhm.
Um, how do you call the city hall?
Mhm.
You go to the city hall here in San Cristobal, and they give you the funeral car
Mhm.
for free.
Mhm.
Like you have to wait your turn. Like,
Right.
oh, hold on, we have another one first, and then we're gonna pick you up later
Okay.
for free. They get you a coffin, the cheapest one ever.
Mhm.
They get you one, so
Mhm.
that's all they do. But they don't give you the cemetery box. You have to
Right.
do that on your own.
Okay.
But the funeral home and the casket, they supply that to you.
Okay. So
Right.
you still got to come up with the money for something.
Yes, and then you need to
Okay.
gather the money. Family, you need $150 to bury that person in at the cemetery.
Okay.
Hey, Edward said he had a good time in the DR, but I noticed I see a lot of Haitian people, or are there dark-skinned Dominicans? That's a great question. I see a lot of dark-skinned Dominicans also. I can see the different in the feature now, but it's a lot of dark-skinned Dominicans as well, right?
Of course.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a black country. You have a couple of you can see some light skinned people, but we are black. However, I know how to identify a Haitian because I was born with them, so I know them since I was a child. So I know you're Haitian. He doesn't have to say anything.
What's the
Let me
name
ask,
of the?
go ahead, brother
I
Rico.
want to ask him. What's the name of the town? Because there's a particular town in the DR that was settled by, believe it or not, African Americans from America, like 150 years ago. Sort of like shortly after the Reconstruction, when we got out of slavery. There's a town. It's actually in the history.
San Pedro.
Okay. And
San Pedro.
And they all have English last names. So their last names are not Rodriguez, or it's like Williams and Johnson. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's in San Pedro. So the way I know, the way I know history, this is how I know it. You are right. So those Americans or England, they were in Turks and Caicos.
Yeah.
They came over to the Dominican Republic, to that location, to work on the sugarcane factory back then, because sugarcane was the dominant industry back then, and they knew a lot about it. San Pedro was like the main city of sugarcane back then. So this American or England, they colonized that area.
Yeah.
And they were black. No, I'm not talking about white people, like black people. And that's why you can see a lot of people with the last name and British and English last names. So you're right, Rico. You're doing the homework.
Yeah, I really was. I was like, oh,
yeah, Rico ain't that smart. Don't make him sound like he's intelligent. Don't do it. Hey, my cousin Nicole says Congressman Manuel has a nice ring to. You ever thought about being a politician, Manuel?
Well, yeah, I thought about it. I think I can do it.
Oh, really? You thought about doing it? You would be one of those non-corrupt politicians, right?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Yeah, because you at some point, if you're not, at some point you are gonna have to sign something that you don't want to.
Really? You think so?
It's going to happen, not just here. It happens in the US too. It happens everywhere. At some point, you are going to do something for the majority of your party. Your party is going to force you to do something that you don't want to, so you can save the reputation or whatever. There's always interest behind a political party. Right. So if you will be an obstacle in between, your career as a politician is not going to last long. They are going to destroy you or something. So
gotcha.
That's how it works.
So speaking of, how many terms can a president do?
Is it in the Dominican? Twice. Two.
Okay, so the current guy, he's on his second?
No, just one.
Still on his first.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's two, and no more.
Okay.
He came in right after COVID, like in 2001, right? He was elected.
Yeah. With COVID, he came in with COVID.
So next year be his last year. Then he got to run again, and he can do
in 2024. 2024 is going to be his last year
for his first.
I think he's for his first term.
So he can be president up till 2028.
That is correct.
Okay. I hope he win. I don't get the vote, but. Yeah, I don't know y'all politics, but it seemed like everybody liked him. At least, he seemed to be big on tourism.
He's not the best, but the others are worst, if you know what I mean.
Right. Same thing we do. The lesser of two evils.
That's
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, we talk about a lot of things on this channel, but we don't. A lot of people love this channel because we keep it clean. Now we talk about rough things and bad stuff, but we don't uplift any type of drugs or sex trafficking or anything like that. So thank you, cousin. But yeah, I just want to clarify that. But you see a lot of these channels, they get out of hand by talking, and I even see YouTube channel where that people are trying to talk people into dating sites and hooking people up and paying people for money and stuff like that. And we don't do that. So, but we do talk about the good and bad of the Dominican Republic and United States or whatever. So thank you so much, cousin. Dustin Brown, I want to ask Manuel, what is the best way to a Dominican woman's heart? I want to ask a Dominican, not a American. Sorry, coach. So I'll shut up, and I guess
not a sorry American, coach.
No, see, they saying sorry American. They want us to shut up. They want us to shut up.
Yeah, what is the best way? I don't understand the question. What is the best way to a Dominican woman's
Heart.
Heart.
Make her
Like
fall
how-
in love with you.
Yeah.
How you making a Dominican woman fall in love with you?
Almost said something. I'm not gonna say nothing. No,
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, let's. Yeah, before I answer that, let's. We had a topic, which is what's the topic, John? Like how to be happy. What's the topic again?
What is living? What do you call living? Like how to be happy? What is living? So
Yeah.
that's
So before I answer that, let me just say something, and then I will answer that. When you love someone, you are giving that other person a power over yourself.
mm,
That person has the power either to make you happy or even to destroy you.
right.
Am I right or wrong? If
You're
you love
absolutely.
someone,
I agree with you. I agree with
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're giving that person a huge power over yourself. So
You're
that,
letting your guard down. You're letting your guard down. Right.
oh yeah, that's why you need to pick the right person. If you're gonna give that kind of power to someone, that has to be the one, someone that will actually not use that power to destroy you.
So how do you know
Now,
that's the one? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, so you don't know what's gonna happen in the future. The only thing you can do is how to react to whatever happens to you. Now, let's go with that question. How do you, Dominican woman heart?
What is the best way to a Dominican woman's heart?
Okay, let's say we are talking about real love. Like you don't have money, you don't have none of that, right? I'm talking about love. Dominican women like masculinity.
Mm.
Like they want to be represented by a man. That they like that.
I mean, like
So
like toughness, like
well, like you don't have to be tough. You just have to be you know what I mean. You're a man, right? You know what
right,
I'm talking about.
yeah, right. When you say masculinity, you mean like for them to get down their throat and be like, you need to do this and you need to. What's the problem? Why is the food not
They
ready?
don't want to they don't want to marry a kid. They want to marry a man.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
yeah,
They want you to take control of the house.
exactly. They
Okay,
they they want to see a male representation in the house, in the environment.
okay. So gotcha. So does
You
Dominican?
are Rico, you're muted. If you don't
No, he's talking to his wife. He's talking to his wife.
okay, got it. All right.
Yeah, but so next time I date a Dominican woman, I need to be tough. I need to pretend like I'm super tough.
It's just like um yeah, it's a difficult question to answer like in a YouTube channel.
Well,
um
how about if I have $1 million in my pocket? They'll listen to me then, right?
yeah, but that's not love. That's money. $1 million in the pocket will convince any kind of nationality from any country.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah.
That's that answer I was looking for. So yeah.
Yeah, they want to walk into the mall and they want their men to hold her hand.
Hold their hand.
Like, like okay,
Right.
I'm her man. Or
Right.
she's mine, she's my wife, she's my girl. They want that. That psychologically they like that shit.
Do you think Dominican women are jealous, or more jealous than American women?
I don't know, but
You
they
don't know.
are jealous.
They are jealous. Yeah,
Hmm.
a large amount of them. They're kind of territorial.
They are, and if they are jealous, that's a sign that they are in love with you.
Mm, yes. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? You think?
If they're not in love, they're not gonna give a fuck about you. Like you can do whatever you want. Yeah, that's
Right. Okay. Mayfield says, well, that's the way it rolls. Everybody is power, and each police or military base get a piece of the action when it comes to drug trafficking.
hmm.
So now that's true. Yeah, that is so
Oh
true.
yes. It's a huge business. It's a very profitable business, and everybody wants to take a piece of it.
Right. Um, Mr. Sanders says, my friend's been to the Dominican Republic. He said driving up there is so complicated. It makes him nervous. Why is traffic so hectic, Manuel, in the Dominican Republic?
Probably we need more traffic education. We are always we're always in a hurry when we're driving. We definitely drive like crazy in the Dominican Republic. Yes.
And I noticed you all have a lot of police officers on the street, and they still don't care. They just run lights and drive on the sidewalk, and the motorcycles they don't care at all. You know?
That is correct.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. So I read that the Dominican Republic is like the number one death is
Number one, number two, and when it comes to car
accident.
accident, well, it's the majority of those accidents. There is a bike, there is a motorcycle involved.
Mhm. Right. Right. David says, Manuel, since baseball is popular in the Dominican Republic, is basketball popular? So the rise, I notice a lot of Latinos are in the NBA now.
Yeah, yeah, he's totally right. We have more Latinos every year in the NBA. From Dominican Republic, we have Chris Duarte,
Hmm.
we have Al Horford. He's in Boston. We
Hmm.
have a couple of them. Yes,
Awesome, awesome. Josh
there
Beck.
is a there is a famous
You
there
got
is
the
a
guy
famous kid.
Towns. Towns is well, Towns isn't from the DR, but his mother's Dominican.
That's the
Carl
guy.
Anthony Towns.
That guy that plays for Boston Celtics, the one that plays for Celtics.
I don't know if
That's
you've seen a
Al
guy.
Horford. Al Horford plays for the Celtics. He's from the DR. But
Right.
Carl Anthony Towns,
He married a Dominican that used to be a Miss
Miss
Universe.
US something, yeah,
Oh,
Miss
really?
something.
Miss Universe.
Yeah. But Carl
And
Anthony Towns,
she happens to be the nephew of Juan Luis Guerra,
Niece.
which is Juan Luis Guerra is like it's like tell me a singer in the US that is like an icon for all generations. Tell me one
Drake,
name.
Michael Jackson, Drake,
No,
Drake ain't
Drake
for
is
all
new generation.
generations.
No,
These are young people.
Prince, or maybe Prince.
Can you give me
Prince,
somebody alive?
Oh, okay, my
Queens.
bad.
Let's say Queens,
All the good
Who?
ones are dead.
Queens. Freddie Mercury from
He did
Queens.
too.
He's
No,
dead.
yeah, but
Prince.
he's not even American. He's British.
Right.
All right, he's British.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
British.
So
Yeah.
let's say Michael Jackson, right?
Right.
You can
So
say, yeah, Beyonce. Yeah, they say Beyonce.
Beyonce.
Old
Yeah.
and young people like her.
Right.
well, but this guy Juan Luis Guerra, he's not young. He should be like a Michael Jackson. So here he's like the Michael Jackson of the Dominican Republic.
Okay.
Gotcha. Hey,
Just
Josh Beck says, does Manuel think that one day the Dominican Republic will not be a poor country but a rich country in the future?
oh yes, why not? I think it is very possible. We have the
Uh,
resources. We just have a bad administration.
It's so many Dominicans that, but they're happy, and I love the way they live. But it's so many Dominicans that just live paycheck to paycheck and day by day. And I'm not knocking that because they seem so happy, but it's so many Dominicans that you see that are like that.
But that's why I
Of
think it'll
course.
never change, though, because if
You
you
know,
look at, I don't think it's just a DR problem. I think it's a problem of ultimately the countries suffer from high rates of corruption, like a lot of Latin countries and even Asian and even countries in Africa. So, like Manuel said, it has a lot of resources, but what makes things change? It's got to be the people.
right.
And I just don't see them raising up against their government, forcing them to. Because basically, the only thing that makes America and England and Canada the type of country that they are is they have a middle class. And when you look at the DR, they don't have a middle class. You have an upper class, and or the middle class is like this
It's
big.
really small. Really
It's
small.
very, very, very tiny.
Yeah.
And everybody else is either upper class, which is a small percentage, and everybody else is poor.
Gotcha.
And that's what you see all throughout Latin America
Right.
and Africa. So the people who do get wealth, they keep it. They
Right.
hoard it.
Yeah.
And they don't share it. And it takes the people to raise up and raise hell, which is what we did in America, because America was that same way before the Great New Deal and World War II, where we decided that, hey, we wanted mass public education, mass healthcare, and all these other stuff. You create a middle class, but without that, it's not going to change.
Brother Vaughn. Hey, Brother Vaughn. Hope all is well, man. Vaughn Bryant, man. So good to see you on the channel. Always, as always. When it comes to education, what are some of the top schools in the Dominican Republic? I don't know. Probably, I know it's private schools, but I know Manuel. He'll probably have to answer that one. Yeah.
University.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. They're doing it in the United States too. It's just it's not
He's
pure
talking about
blooded.
sex trafficking. We
Oh,
just
sex trafficking.
he just going. I love this guy, but this guy is a piece of work.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
He's a piece of work.
He gotta. He's like you. He wants you to only talk about one thing, and
it's got to be all positive. If you just give one honest criticism about the place, he
right.
swear you bash, and it's like, no, it's an honest criticism. We talk about America all the time.
Talk about how bad America is. We bash America all the time. That's right.
And one thing I'll do, people can talk about America all day. I ain't defending this shit. Are you crazy? I ain't never defended America. I'm like, are you crazy? No. And I don't get butthurt about it either.
Right.
You talk about like, oh, America, they got too many guns, they're killing people. You right.
That's right. Yeah.
Keep it moving.
The truth is the truth.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So they should want to talk about it. I've talked to some of my Dominican friends. I'm like, y'all talking about us complaining about, hell, y'all should be complaining with us. That's the only way you get change. They're not going to change if y'all don't say anything.
That's right.
But y'all defending it, so they like, fuck it. Leave it like they quiet. Shut up, suckers.
I think there's a difference between talking about a country and respect. And, you know, we respect the Dominican Republic.
Totally respect.
Yeah, the Dominican Republic have their issues just like America have their issues.
Exactly. And that whole, I always tell them that it's paradise. I'm like, dude, that's a tourist slogan. Okay. Right. They say that shit about every country in the Caribbean. Yeah. They're all paradise.
Right.
And none of them is.
Mm-hmm. A lot of these questions are for Manuel, and he kind of stepped out. Oh, here he is. Manuel, question for Manuel. How do the Dominicans view the average Americans? Do they view them as very arrogant or bad attitudes when they visit Dominican Republic? Oh, your microphone.
They come here on vacation. They do not cause any kind of trouble. So they come here on vacation. They come to Punta Cana. So I don't see them as arrogant. Some of them are, but it's not like all of them are like that. So the average American here, it's very very nice.
Have you ever heard of American walking up to someone and they thought that they were better than a Dominican and like, hey boy, you need to do this for me, you need to do that for me, and I'm American? Have you ever heard of anything like that?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, but that's not very. It's
not common. It's not common.
Just a stupid person just think that he's better than
Mm-hmm.
You get that everywhere.
Yeah.
Do Manuel see himself buried at the same cemetery? That's a good question.
Of course, they will bury me there.
Yes.
Yeah, they definitely. Once I'm dead, they will decide whatever they want. They will put me there. Yes.
So who keeps making the payments? Is it just like 3 or 4 of you all, or is it a whole group of you all that makes the payments at the?
In my house, is the 3 of us. So whoever we pay for 3 people. So whoever dies in the family, I can use my membership to bury that person.
Okay, gotcha. So you have 3 or 4 people that can make the decisions on that.
Exactly.
Yeah, the house or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's say, Mom? Yeah.
Say hi to your mom.
Oh, my mom asked. Oh, Mom Manuel said hello.
Hello.
She said hello. Hey, so could me and my mom go ahead and set up something, or just asking? I mean, I'm not saying I'm gonna do it.
Of course you can.
And make payments and all of that stuff.
Yes, you can. You don't need to be a Dominican.
You don't have to be Dominican.
Because death, it's something for everybody, and their business is death.
Gotcha.
Everybody has to die.
Well, yeah, since I'm staying there all the time, my mom said she's gonna send you $7 a month. So Dominicans don't put the fluids in bodies. Okay, that's a good question. do you all embalm? I guess you guys y'all bury the next day, right? So
No,
y'all,
no, no, no. When no, no. Okay, yeah, that's a pretty good question.
yeah, go
Yeah, yeah.
ahead.
If you die at the hospital they have the morgue, right?
Right.
They will prepare you. They will take the fluids out and everything out. They do they do the Y here, the thing.
Okay. Right.
They do what they have. They prepare you for that.
Okay.
So
Got it.
it's not like you die and we take the body and put it there. No, that's not because it will explode if we do it like that.
Gotcha. Got it. It'll swell up and explode. So they
Yeah,
drink it.
yeah.
So do you all have open caskets where you can actually see the face of your?
Yes, that's at the funeral home.
Okay.
We You stay there for 24 to 48 hours. Everybody go there. They present their condolences and everything to the family. Everybody cry. You know,
Right.
after that process is over, then they take it to the cemetery.
I noticed that you all, and this is what I have seen, that the Dominicans have like a a clear like fiberglass over the face.
Hmm.
Yeah, why do you all you can't like in the United States like all my relatives you can touch their hand, you can touch
Yeah.
their body and everything. Can you touch the body of a Dominican?
Yes, you can. Yes. So
Okay.
what they do at the funeral home,
Mhm.
it's open. The casket is open, so you can touch. You can say goodbye. In some cases, the body is, let's say you die in a very tragic accident, like a very tragic one, and they
Right.
have to put all the body together.
Mhm.
So they close the casket, and there is like a glass window that you can see through. So
Oh,
you don't have to see all the all the
everything. Yeah,
everything. Hmm.
like yeah, the body parts that was dismantled or whatever. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
disfigurement. Yeah, I noticed that Melvin's when I went to his funeral, they had the big clear glass over the top of it, and
Whose funeral?
Melvin's friend, the one that passed away from on the motorcycle.
Yeah, yeah. He had an accident, a very tragic one.
Yes.
So they closed the casket because of the probably the disfigurement of the body. So they rather to close the casket and just leave like a glass window so you can see the body through it.
Okay. Gotcha. You got a girl right here. Tell Manuel I want some of his caramel in my coffee without sugar. I'll pass that one up. You got, yeah. There's your ticket to the United States right there, Manuel.
What's her name? Sharon Farrell. Hi, Sharon Farrell. I hope you're doing fine.
Look at man, Rico laughing. Look at Rico laughing. Yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness. Do you believe it's wrong? And I'm not saying Dominicans, not Dominicans. I'm not talking about Dominican people. I'm talking about everybody. Do you believe it's wrong for a man or woman to marry to get to a different country? Do you believe it's wrong?
It is.
It is.
And
Why?
yeah, it is because you're doing it because you want to go to that other country. You don't love that person. So that's scam. You
That's
are scamming. You're scamming that person's feelings. She
right.
thinks
Whoa,
you're
whoa,
in
whoa, whoa,
love.
whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, okay, but now, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
We're not talking about you tricking them. So, well, there's a difference between you tricking them. Yeah, you're right, because there is a difference. If you pretend like you like them just to get there, that's one thing. But then sometimes I know a shitload of people from all over the world
That's
that
it.
do it.
So
That's just
Rico's right.
arranged.
So let me say it like what Rico's
Right.
saying. What I'm saying
It's
is
arranged.
let's say
Like
a
you
girl,
know,
what
hey, it's a deal.
if a girl say, "Hey, Manuel, give me $2,000,
And I'll
and
All right.
marry you.
then I'm gonna marry you." Do you believe that's wrong?
Oh yeah. All right. Now the question is different.
So
Now
why
the
you get the
question.
same answer?
Now the question is different. Now listen. If you marry someone as an arrangement, that's the business.
Okay,
That's a
That's the
business.
business. So that's nothing emotional.
okay.
Gotcha.
I'm paying you. You're
Hmm.
getting paid for a job.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So you're helping me, not for free. I'm paying you money. So that's okay because that's business.
Yes.
But if you trick someone,
Right.
look, I'm in love with you and stuff,
Okay.
that's not right. everybody
Okay.
does it. Everybody does it, but I don't think that's right because that person is going to take me to the U.S. or to England or whatever, and then I'm just going to leave.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Gotcha,
Okay. That I
gotcha,
get. Okay. But
gotcha.
the business, you don't have a problem with the business situation.
That's right.
Business is business is business.
Okay.
Does this young lady, Miss Sorono, says, does Manuel have a fans only page?
That mean the OnlyFans.
Fans.
Ask her how
OnlyFans.
much is she willing to pay. We'll
That's
start one.
that's where you show your body parts and you can show your toes and stuff, and people pay you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have one of those.
Ask her how much she willing to pay. We'll get you one started.
Hey man,
Stop being so damn prideful, Manuel. We try to make some money.
and,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah,
hey, do they have Dominican women that have fans only pages?
Are you
of course.
kidding?
You have Dominicans and Americans. You have
Yeah.
all of them, all
I
over
know
the
they
world.
have Americans,
Yeah.
So that they make a lot of money like that, huh?
Now in the United States, if you are young and you don't want to work, you just do it and you show
Yeah.
your body, which is good. It's not bad. That's okay. That's the job.
Some people just they make good
You have
money.
to make a living.
Yeah.
John, it wouldn't work for you.
I know it wouldn't work for you either.
We end up owing money.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
How come I keep getting a bill?
That's right. That's right. Hey, I thought cremation was like 800. How much is cremation? Do you know?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's
You-
almost U.S. money though. There,
Yeah, that's U.S.
it's a little less, but it's close. I don't know. You probably can get it for like $800. Because I told you I did mine a couple of years ago, like 14.
Yes.
Here from your buddy. I read this
Go
earlier.
ahead. You read his question, Rico.
He taking his shot at you, Manuel. See, you can't even be Dominican and make him happy.
There you go.
Look,
You know I have to disagree. I know you're very pro
Afrocentric, but we're not a black country. We're a mixed nation. And you know that Juan Pablo Duarte was the least mixed like us or black at that. So again, I told you, he got that magical Taino in him,
right?
Which like was evaporated. I can't with this guy.
I believe that certain Dominicans, they want to they separate themselves from the African side.
They do.
And I don't
care how black they are.
That is so crazy. That's so crazy to me.
Look at what Sammy Sosa did to himself.
But you know what? No, but they think that it's okay. I'm not saying don't talk about your Spanish side. No. I'm just saying you got two sides. You got other sides too. Right. Yeah, okay. I love Latino people. I love Latino culture. I love Latino food. But you got to talk about the African side, the motherland. That's where
the beauty of it is that, and you answer this for me, Manuel, because this is the one question I want to ask. Or I'm actually going to say, you guys are currently, right now, today, going through your 10-year census that you didn't do in 2020. Am I correct?
I'm sorry, what was that again?
You guys are currently going through your census today. The national census.
Yes.
It was supposed to be done in 2020. They didn't do it in 2020 because of COVID, so they're doing it 2 years later.
Yes.
And what gets me is all these guys will always say this, and I'm like, you keep saying that y'all don't identify by race, but it's a question on the fucking census. So what are you talking about? You have to pick a race on the census. And it doesn't say Dominican. Dominican's not a choice. Right. You have white, you have black, you have a mixed race. I give you that. But you don't get to put down Dominican. So you have to pick a race. It's one of the questions that's asked of you by the government. The thing is, people self-identify. So I could be as black as I want, and I can put white. You can put white if you want to. Now, you might look silly doing it, but you can, and unfortunately, not just in the DR, but other countries, because people want to so much, as you say, separate from the motherland because of what they've been through. They will identify as anything but that one, even though it's a choice. That's you right. As far as I know, Big Papi might have put mulatto or mixed. And I'm like, bruh, have you seen Big Papi?
And Big
Ain't no doubt in my mind what he is. He's black.
Yeah.
But he can put whatever the hell he wants. And he may have put mixed. I'm like, okay, good luck.
Right.
That's the conversation.
Yes,
So
that
this
is
is
so.
kind of what he's leaning into. It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah, yeah.
15% of Dominicans identify as black in
I
the
don't.
Senate.
Some people believe it's wrong to talk about your African roots and black, and believe he's one of them.
Yeah.
I love talking about the African roots and the Latino roots, but you cannot just kick one of them to the curb and just say I'm Latino. I speak Spanish.
I'm not black.
Yeah,
I'm not black. That's
yeah.
what they'll say. I'm not black. You can call me Latino. You can call me Spanish, but I'm not black. Well, then why can I call you Spanish? Why is
That's
that
right.
okay? If I can't call you black and you're both things, why can I call you the other thing, but I can't? It's just you can hear it, and that's the only thing I say is I tell the ones that's doing business. I said y'all better start leaning into it because there are a lot of black people come to the island with money, and
Right.
we hear that. We hear that. So a lot of times when I'm over there, when I hear people talk like that, I tend not. I'm like, fuck it. I ain't
Let's
spending
ask
my black
Manuel.
money on them. Fuck them.
That's true, but let's ask Manuel. Let me ask you this: Do we as African Americans, that's what they call us here, African Americans, we really talk about our African history. And I know you all don't do that in the Dominican Republic. Do you believe it's wrong? Do you believe that I am force feeding you and that I'm trying to make you love and like uplift your African heritage? Do you feel like do you feel offended? Do you feel offended?
No, no, I'm not offended by that.
Okay, yeah. Because you know some of your family came from Africa.
Of course.
And you know some of your family came from
Spain.
Spain.
Of
Right.
course.
So do you like one less and like one more?
All right. So number one, let's put on the table that the U.S. is the most racist country on planet Earth. Are we
Right.
okay?
I totally
I don't
agree
defend
with
America about shit.
All right. So that's one
Even
thing.
if I don't
So
agree with you, I don't defend them.
race for Americans is a big, very big deal for Americans because racism is part of your everyday life.
That's right.
Right. So that is why the topic of race it's very important for Americans more than the rest of the continent.
Right.
Now, in school in Mexico, in Brazil, in the Dominican Republic, in Puerto Rico, they talk to you more about indigenous. When Christopher Columbus came into this part of the world, they will talk to you about the indigenous. They will not talk much about the African Americans that were brought in here.
Mm-hmm.
In the United States, not too long ago, you had slavery, right? You had Africans being slaves in the South. Am I right or wrong?
That's right.
And that's not too long ago. That's not too long ago. That's a couple of 100 years ago.
Right.
So the topic of being African, it's a vivid topic still in the U.S., especially in New Orleans, where you're from. That's in the South, right?
Right. In Louisiana. Right.
In Louisiana. In Louisiana, it's in the South. So slavery, since it just happened a couple of hundred years ago, that's still there. That is why that's part of your central country and your culture, and you're proud of the African freedom because that's what you are taught in school, and that's part of the history. In the other rest of the continent, people talk more in school about indigenous.
Gotcha.
That is the reason why you will see Mexicans not identifying themselves with Africa, even though they know that Africans are they have African roots. They will talk more about Mayas.
Right.
They will talk about indigenous. And you don't have to call them ignorance because of that, because that's their culture.
That's right.
Mayans. So African Americans, um, when
So,
Christopher Columbus came over,
mhm.
what they did, they eradicated Mayans, indigenous, were what they had, not Africans.
Right.
Indigenous were there. and they killed all the indigenous. So that's how they identify themselves. If you go
And
to
they
the
killed
history,
and they killed all the Tainos, right?
they killed Tainos in the
So
Dominican Republic.
Taino
They
Night
called
ain't got much in them, right?
Tainos what?
Taino Night ain't got much Taino in them because they pretty much eradicated them off the island.
And that happened. Mhm.
So the reason why I say it is because then you get into the
But
space.
are you following me? What I'm saying? Why
100%.
Africa? Why the topic of African roots is not primarily for Latin America, and
sense.
that is why it is primarily for the U.S.
Right. But I will say this: I will give one pushback, Manuel, because and not to anything you said, because everything you said is factually true.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm saying what's the hidden part where in Latin America they think they traffic in a different form of racism. Okay. They traffic in because if you have to explain to me why even on the island of the DR, it's not lost on any of us that all the dark-skinned people of all these countries are always at the bottom of the socioeconomic ladder. That is unexcusable.
That is.
You can see it
even in the Dominican Republic, the dark-skinned Dominican
and the
people.
lighter.
Yes, but that's inequality.
Yeah,
but that's the topic of inequality. We're talking about
Colorism.
white people. Right. We're talking the topic that we're talking about right now. Just to finish that line is why people from Latin America, they don't see themselves as Africans, but they see themselves as indigenous.
Right.
And the reason why probably your great granddad was slave in Louisiana, probably. So with slavery, it didn't happen 1,000 years ago. It happens a couple of hundreds of years ago. It's still part of it's still you still have names and photos of those Africans that were slave. We don't have any photos of any indigenous because it happened long time ago.
That makes
when you had a slavery, you already have photographic camera, so it's not too long ago. Right. So part of your main history,
that's deep.
It's related to African slavery. Part of our history is related to indigenous.
Gotcha.
If you look at the symbolic symbols in Mexico, you are not going to see any Africans. You are going to see Mayans.
I love how you broke that down. That helped me out. Like, so now the next question that I have: why is it that, I mean, that's everywhere, not just talking about the Dominican Republic, but I'm really pointing at the Dominican now. Why is it that the dark-skinned Dominicans are in the back cooking at the resorts
everywhere,
and then you see the blue-eyed Dominicans and the curly-headed Dominicans with the light skin like your color and everything? They're in the front, like they're at the Holiday Inn and they're at these different resorts and they're serving food. But you always see the dark-skinned Dominicans. They walk in and they walk straight to the back and they start cooking the food. I see that
exactly.
And all the manual labor.
Yeah. So everything. That's all right. So we already broke down why Latin American people
Can I just say one thing on that thing, because what you're saying is absolutely true, but the flaw in that is, I get what you're saying, what's taught to you. But what's taught to you is different from the reality, because if you were to do a DNA test all throughout the DR, you will see. So while more Dominicans identify toward the indigenous part, they have actually more African in them than indigenous. So they're more identifying with what they are less of while ignoring what they're actually more of. So if you look at your DNA, you may have 2% Taino, but 25% Black, and then 35% Spaniard. But a lot of Dominicans that look like you will completely ignore the African, but will claim to that 1 or 2% Taino or zero.
That's
so they'll claim to what they were taught.
Manuel,
he's right.
Manuel,
I mean,
hold on, Manuel. Before you comment, Manuel, you're next. Haitian Gunman, thank you so much, brother, for the super chat, the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, as always. Go ahead, Manuel.
So I want to ask you this: who was first in the U.S.? Native Americans or Africans?
Natives.
Natives.
Why you don't talk about natives?
We do. We do.
We do.
So, but you are more related about, you talk more about the African because
Because
African took over, right? And if we make a DNA, we're all Africans. That's totally right. But I'm trying to explain to you
Mhm.
why Latin Americans, they will always identify with indigenous, because that's the closest history they have.
Right.
So you had a episode in the American history with hundreds of years of African African labor as slaves, right?
Mhm.
right,
In this side of the world, it was not the same situation.
right,
That same situation happened, but with indigenous. That is why the culture of Latin America is more related to indigenous. You got Mexican Mayans. If you go to Peru, you're going to have Incas. That's how they call it, Incas.
right,
If you go to Brazil, they will have indigenous, Masonic indigenous. In the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, they had Taínos. We even have the
Mhm.
names that we collected
Mhm.
from Spanish historians.
right,
So when we came here, this is what we found. This guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. This is what they used to do. So Spanish, they never said, "Oh, we found Africans. We brought Africans here to work." Right? We brought them in the ships.
Mhm.
Now,
right.
this is why they see themselves more part of their culture as indigenous. If you go to Mexico, you will see the pyramids, right?
Pyramids, right,
Mayans
Mhm.
ones,
Mhm.
and
right.
you will see symbols that are indigenous symbols.
Indigenous,
You
Mhm.
right,
will see stuff that are indigenous. You will not see symbolic stuff African.
No.
right,
But
That's why.
right, and I get that, but again, it goes back to history that's taught and history reality. Because even though you said then you said about the indigenous culture in the DR, a lot of the customs and practices in the DR can be traced straight back to Africa.
All
They
of
just
us.
don't. Yeah, they
all of
just, the
We
food.
if
No,
we
I'm
go
saying the food, the language, the words, the dancing. A lot of it is African rooted, but they will never see it that way. They'll say, "Oh, this is Dominican." Like it's sprung up on its own. It's like a lot of these traits were brought over by the slaves that were brought because there were slaves in the DR, just like there were slaves in Haiti,
everywhere,
everywhere.
everywhere.
So those cultures and customs bled into it, but yet the teaching of that was never put in with your culture as
But
well.
I just
Is what
want
I'm saying.
I just want to make sure
Yes.
that you guys as Americans
Mhm.
understand
Yeah.
why Latin Americans,
Well, I
they
told man,
they will
we
not
have
identify themselves as Africans
Right.
because we were more impacted by indigenous. US was
that makes
more
sense.
impacted by African,
Right. No,
especially
I totally
African
understand,
slavery.
and you have helped me out tremendously on that, and I respect that.
Yeah.
And
Now let's talk
The
about
colorism.
the people cooking
this
at the
Yeah.
kitchen. I want to
now
talk
let
That's
me
about that.
huge.
now let me say this before you say that. Will you ever get offended if I bring your cousin or nephew on the side? He's 5, 6, 7 years old, and I just sit them down and say, "Hey, man, I know you have this culture, but let me tell you about your African roots." Would you get offended if I said that?
Of course not,
Okay, all
because
right,
you're gonna say the truth to them.
that's right, and that's all we're saying, kind of when it comes down to that. That's all, and I just love to tell people the truth about our African roots. I'm not down in the Hispanic culture at all. I love the Hispanic culture. So anyway, go ahead and talk about the dark skinned people in go ahead.
Yeah. So you cannot point it out that like it only happens in the Dominican
Oh no,
Republic.
it's
Oh
all
no,
Latin
that's
It
what I
America.
said.
happens
It's
Right,
all
everywhere.
yeah, it's
right.
everywhere.
So
It's
beauty,
everywhere.
and I know your mom is in the background
Look,
probably listening to what I'm saying, right?
No, it's
So
everywhere, Manuel. It's not just the DR.
so
Go ahead.
always if you think about it, on TV 100 years ago, black people were not on TV. Always
Mhm.
was a white person, blue eyes,
Mhm.
because the elite always wanted to present beauty as being white.
Mhm.
Right. Mhm.
They always
Say hey man. Hello.
Hey, how are you, Mom?
Hey, Mama.
I'm good. I have to get my little head piece together, guys.
And
Yes.
that's my beautiful mama. Did you like when my mom? You know why I got these tattoos? They really not tattoos. When I rub on my mama dark skin, I start getting blacker and blacker.
That's great.
So anyway, go ahead, man. My mama,
So
she loved this topic.
yeah. So the white color has always represented power because the people in power they've always been black. Romans, Greeks, all of them they were British.
Right.
All the powerful countries they're white. So they always presented the white as a synonymous of being intelligent and of being beautiful, and the black as a synonymous of being ugly and being ignorant, right? And it happened everywhere in every country, specifically with more intensity in the U.S., where
So where did you all pick up that bad trait from to put the dark skinned people in the back and let them cook and clean? Where do you think?
So that's who owns the hotel? The hotel is owned by who? It's not a black guy. It's a white guy. He's either from Spain. He's either from Spain or anyone from Europe, right? Because you exactly. So they also want to present the beautiful faces at the reception. And how is beauty associated? Not now. It's been happening by centuries by being white and blue eyes.
Blue eyes, light skinned.
But it's more than just the hotels. It's all over.
All over.
It happens everywhere.
No, I'm saying it's in every industry. It's in the mindset. And what I would say is this, Manuel, it's like you're right. It went all the way back to the founding of the country. So it's not nothing new. You saw it, and of course it was on steroids when y'all had y'all dictator Trujillo, who made a public policy of trying to whiten the country. And a lot of these countries, even like in Argentina and Venezuela, they opened immigration up to those countries from Europe because they wanted more white people to come in to whiten the country because they had too many Africans and descendants of slaves. So when you had that, it creates this mindset and this culture and this stigma, and people are still stuck with it. I get what we went through. I'm like, it's 2022. And in 2022, with us being able to touch the world at our fingertips and all this information and this history and this knowledge, we got to start doing better.
Somewhere.
That's right.
We have to start. I'm not saying it's not going to change overnight, but if we can't even sit there. I love the way you automatically embrace your blackness. You just automatically do it. It's comfortable to you. It needs to become more comfortable for others there who are like, hey, I'm black, I'm Spanish, you can call me either one, I'm fine with it. But
so that's great.
Don't call me black. It's the mindset that what Trujillo put in for those generations. I'm like, you guys got to free yourself of that shit.
Let me ask you this.
Not you.
Well,
not
you
know, Brother Rico. Go ahead, Manuel. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying.
The statement of to better the race, Lamar La Raza. Right? That was a common terminology throughout Latin America.
You are not 100% right on that fact of the Dominican history. But yes, Trujillo was the guy was crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
He had a problem with his personality. He thought he was the best of everything. He was narcissist, 100%. However, I wish the next time you come to the Dominican Republic, I want to take you to places where it's not Punta Cana and stuff like. I want to take it like to the average, so your perception is going to change very much.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that in the U.S. is the same stuff, probably worse, because in the U.S. racism it's more aggressive.
Yes.
That exactly. It's even more aggressive, but it's not like I know I'm a black guy. Look at me. I'm 100%. I'm 100% black.
What's hard for us is seeing someone in America. We would never have somebody that looked like you say I'm not black. We just don't get that here. That's the thing that's probably the first step that's startling to us. It's like you don't, because you could be in the DR. Every Dominican that wasn't black in the DR, when they came to America, their ass became black that day.
That's right.
They did. So what happens is, it shouldn't take you leaving the island to come to America for them to smack it into you. It should
They
be
gonna
something you
smack
should
it into
embrace
you.
anyway.
They
But
gonna
oftentimes they won't accept it
That's right.
until they're here, because America will tell you all day, every day in your face, your ass ain't white, you ain't Spanish, you black.
That's right.
I've already
That's
explained.
what happens.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I've already explained the why it happens.
That's right.
Mhm.
If you ask a Mexican, "Are you black?" He's gonna say, "No, I'm not."
Right.
He's not gonna say. He's gonna say, "I'm moreno." He's gonna say, I'm mulatto," and stuff like that. If you go to Brazil and you ask them, "Do you identify yourself as African?" They right away are gonna tell you no, because our history has not been so much impacted by Africans, but more by indigenous, because they were here longer. That's the reason why.
Right. No, I totally
Yeah,
understand
we
it.
agree.
I just wanted to see, and this is what I was getting to when I asked that question. Like, when I start my baseball program in the Dominican Republic with the little kids, do you think that the Dominican family would get offended if I say, "Hey, let me tell you about how your other side, your African
would love
culture"?
it.
Do you think the parents would be okay
Of
with
course, they're gonna let you. Of course, of
They
course.
wouldn't say, hey, only talk about the
They
Spanish.
will not. They will not. They will not. They will listen to you. But as I said, in the U.S., you are African American. Just listen to that.
Mhm.
African. The word African. The word being black is part of the everyday conversation in the U.S.
Gotcha.
Black, black, black. A black cop. A white police officer killed a black person. So the race is part of your everyday vocabulary. You're black, you're African, you're black, you're African. If you turn on the TV, CNN, it's not like John, an African American in Louisiana,
Mhm.
this, did that, did that. So you are labeled since you're
Yes.
born African American. I don't know, but I'm guessing your passport, it probably says African American.
I think it does. Yeah, it says
It just said
It,
black.
it does say,
It says
No,
black.
your
all right.
passport don't. No, your
It
birth
says black.
certificate does, not your passport.
You know,
We
we
don't have
don't.
a race
all right.
on passport.
We classify ourselves as
Yeah.
African American. We say that.
Yeah.
I don't think
Exactly.
it's. You know, they don't.
So have you heard someone from Argentina, African Argentinian? Have you heard
Yeah.
that?
No.
Yes,
No.
yes, you do.
You have.
Yes, we
Okay.
do have Afro
But it's
Argentinian.
not. It's what he was saying. What my mom is saying. It's not on the
No.
paperwork. It's not on the paperwork.
Right? No. I'm saying literally, you do literally have Afro. I'll point you to YouTube channel.
Do they call themselves I'm Afro
Afro-Argentinian.
Argentinian?
It's a small population. But
Ah,
yes, you
okay.
have Afro Argentinians. You have Afro Mexicans.
So Rico, what is
classified?
what is a person? What is
Afro Mexican?
Gotcha. But what is a white person in Africa? They were born in Africa, and then they move here, and they're in the United States. Are they called African Americans?
No. Nope.
They white, and they were born in.
They don't call them African Americans. Nope.
I mean, that don't make no sense.
I think they call them. They'll basically, you're talking about somebody from South Africa,
right?
I think they call them Afrikaners,
Okay.
which is like a different spelling of the word African, but they are not called African American, John. And they put Caucasian down on all their paperwork, and they get all the benefit of being white in America. I don't care where they were born from.
Well, let me ask.
The better job, the better schooling, the better everything.
Let me ask Manuel this. That's great, brother. I appreciate it, Brother Rico. Manuel, when you're coming up, does your parents and did your grandparents talk about history and how awesome like your history is and where you come from? What do they talk about?
My parents, they don't talk. They never spoke to me about it. I went to school and I went to
Okay, well, what did they talk about? What did they talk about? The school.
They will talk to you. They will talk to you about indigenous. They will talk to you about Africans, but indigenous more. And indigenous, that's where they're going to talk about it.
Right.
In the United States, there was one time that you had bathroom for black people, bathroom for white people.
Yes.
Water
So
fountain.
you see how aggressive it was for you guys.
Yeah.
We never had that situation. We never had a bathroom for a white and a bathroom for a black. We never had a school for black people. We never had a school for white people.
Mhm.
We never had a college for white and a college for black. We
Gotcha.
never had none of that. We didn't go through that. That is why being black or being white is not so aggressive for us, that we have to remember the world that we are Africans.
But can you
I don't know if
explain?
that makes sense what I'm saying,
Yeah,
right?
can
Yeah,
you-
makes
but-
a
sense.
lot of sense. Thanks,
Lot
man.
of
explain to me how, again, go back to John's question. The vast majority, you say it's different, but we see what our eyes tell us all over. The darker you are, the farther you're down at the bottom of the scale, and the whiter you are, the all the pretty much most of the politicians, everybody on Dominican TV, it's just noticeable. And I'm like, damn, the black people here just got some really bad luck. That it's just like so when you see that, and not just the DR, it's in, like I said, it's in Puerto Rico, it's in all through Latin America. It's like
Right.
these are countries, even in Brazil, which has a very large black population, huge, but it's like, and the port 78, I think I saw like 80% of Afro-Brazilians live below the poverty line. The
Mhm.
black Brazilians. I'm
Right.
like, this shit is not by accident. It's not accidental that
Who-
this just happens.
It happens.
That all the black people are always the poorest people in all of these countries. So I don't
What-
think it's racism, but it's colorism, and everybody plays a part in it, even if
Let me ask you this:
Go ahead.
who owns the TV channels? White people or black people?
white people.
White people.
Right.
Who do you think they're going to put on TV?
White.
Who are they going to? Who are they going to prioritize?
Right.
It happens. It happens everywhere.
But what I'm saying is this: in reality, is that when you go to countries that have a large, and this is where I sit there and say is where I said, like, well, I don't think the DR will change as far as coming out, because it takes the poor people to speak up with a unified voice to say, hey, look, damn it, see us. That's how, like, when you look at the African Americans, the changes and the progress that we made, it came from us fighting, bitching, complaining, raising hell. They didn't give us nothing.
Right.
We had to fight for it all. When I look at the DR, when I look at Panama, when I look at Colombia, when I look at Brazil, all those poor people, they say nothing.
They
They
don't-
say nothing.
So that's hey, hold up,
they
Manuel.
lose their lives.
That's right. My mom's right. But listen, just to
got
touch
to.
on what you just said, Manuel, I mean, have you ever had a group of dark-skinned people in the Dominican Republic to say, "Hey, I'm tired. Let's have a boycott or a picket and say treat us the same." Let Manuel answer that. Let's see.
You even have a gang which is called the white supremacists.
What?
What?
You
talking about
have
here
a in prison in the United States. You have a gang called.
I'm talking about the Dominican.
No, hold on.
Okay.
The white, yeah, because you want me to accept that everybody in the Dominican Republic is racist, and that's not true. I mean,
No, no, no,
you
no,
you
no, no,
hold
no.
on. In the U.S., you have in prison you have white supremacists. You have KKK, and this is the black community. This is a white community. So you are psychologically you are segregated, and every time Americans talk, even on TV, even the elections
Mhm.
are based on race.
Mhm.
I will do more for this group, or will do more for that group. So race and racism,
Mhm.
it's so important
Right.
as eating for Americans.
Right.
Am I right or wrong?
That's true.
So
That's
you
true.
will not see um, uh, black Dominican when we are black
Mhm.
fighting, because we were fighting for what? Because the topic of being black or white is not a big deal here, like that you have to go on TV and you have to go you have to do
You clarified
how
that.
do you call it when you gather a lot of people and you just
A
strike?
riot.
You
A
have to
riot.
do a
Protest,
right.
protest.
That would be ridiculous here if you do that.
Okay, so you why would that be ridiculous?
I know.
Why would that be ridiculous?
It's I don't think you will understand it because you come here as visitors, and what you're saying is based on what you see, but you have not lived here like me, that I've been here for 35 years.
Right.
So it's kind of difficult for you to understand then when your culture is 100% based on race and race only.
Gotcha.
Can I ask you one question? I'll take it out of race. Because I just wanted to think of it this way. What about men and women? Do you think that they're equal in the
Men
DR?
and women,
Yeah. Are
they
women second-class citizens in the DR?
they have the same rights.
I know they have the same rights. We know they have
So,
the same rights on
so
paper.
what's define
paper, but in
equality? Are you talking
reality,
about
yeah,
legal equality or
Yeah.
cultural?
Whatever way you want to call it, but we know.
No, it's different. It's different.
Okay. But what I'm saying is, economically, men make much more than women, pretty much across the board. Would you agree with that? I
That's
don't know.
incorrect, and I'll show you
Okay.
why. If you have a man and a woman working at a supermarket
Mhm.
doing the same job, they will get paid the same.
Oh, they will.
And
Of course they will.
Police officers also, right? They both.
Police officer, if they have the same rank
Mhm.
and the same time, they will get paid the same.
Okay.
So
Why do you see more men in the Dominican Republic making a lot more money than women? Because more men are more likely to be an architect, to be an engineer. They're more likely to be doctors, like surgeons and stuff. Women are more likely to become nurses. Women are more likely to be psychologists. Women are more likely to be teachers. Those professions, the salary is a lot less. But a doctor, a woman, and you have a female doctor, they do the same job. If someone told you that they get different salaries, they lie to you.
Okay. Can I ask you what's the
So
percentage?
he means salary wise.
Let me ask you one question. What's the percentage of female politicians in the DR, roughly?
Not a lot. And you know
Yeah.
why?
Okay.
Women, Dominican women are not interested in politics.
Oh, why is
They
that?
not.
They don't get involved. They don't get involved in it.
Let me tell you this, right? Okay. Now,
Yeah.
because this is where I think we can kind of wade in, because that's some of the language I hear you saying, Manuel,
Yeah.
is the exact same language that was said here in America in the 1940s and 50s, in the way that they talked about women. They didn't want certain jobs. They didn't want to do certain things. And it wasn't that women didn't want it. Men weren't going to allow them to do it.
That's not the case. If you want to become a doctor, all you got to do, you go to college and become a doctor.
I'm saying that was the same thing in America, but for some reason, they just wasn't getting in. And what we're saying, and when I talk about it, I talk about how sometimes people in societies do things subconsciously without even thinking about it. Right. So that was the whole thing around even around the women, that sometimes we do think, and we like, and don't even realize subconsciously the society as a whole can do these things. So that makes sense to me. Like, okay, 95% of the politicians are men. I'm like, and it's got to be more women that want to run for office, but they're probably discouraged. They're not supported. Men ain't going to vote for them. All the things that women had to fight through.
Okay.
It's going to happen.
Let me help you.
It's not going to happen now. That's all.
Let me help you.
Go ahead, Manuel. Go ahead.
I'm in college right now. I will become an attorney I'm halfway in 2 years, right?
Excellent.
The majority of my partners in school, they're women.
Okay.
The majority of the population in college is women.
Gotcha. Yeah.
More lawyers, more everything than men.
Right.
Now, the careers that they pursued are different. Not because it's not allowed. There is no man blocking that. Women, they don't want to do work that are related to physical force. Those jobs, you get well paid.
More money.
women want to do in the Dominican. I don't know in the U.S. They want to be in office. They they want to be an attorney. They want to stay in the office. They want to do stuff that are less dangerous than men. When it comes to become a politician,
Hmm.
it's not that they are not allowed to, because the governor in San Cristobal, she's a woman. In fact, San Cristobal is divided in 33 provinces. So
Right.
for you, that would be states, right?
Okay.
In each of those provinces, the governor is a woman.
Mm.
All
Wow.
33?
The 33. So
Wow.
when the in this government, it was 30 in the last government. It is 33 in this government.
Wow. That's awesome.
The public attorney, like the person in charge of the law in each one of those provinces, the majority of them are women.
Mm.
Okay.
Teachers, the majority of them are women.
Gotcha.
Nurses, women. Doctors with specialties, men.
Okay.
Men are more likely to go farther when it comes to become a surgeon.
That's
That's
right.
the same in the US
So
for teachers and
so
nurses and doctors.
so I have to tell you the way it is, not the way you think it is or the way
Right.
you want it to
So we're
be.
not.
That's
No,
Yeah.
but
We,
the,
I asked you what was
oh
the
no,
percentage of female
exact.
politicians, and
So
you told me it was a
it,
little.
so oh, they're not interested. It should be more.
Right.
right.
I was only speaking in the
Of
realm of
course,
politics. The
in
teachers and
politics
all that
it
I
should be.
understand. But
In
politics,
politics it should be more than that.
Right.
We have a lot of them, but it should be more.
because we
The
have like
Gotcha.
the
half and half,
the
half
the,
men, and we probably got in the
the
US
vice
probably half
the
as many
vice
women.
president the vice president is a woman.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Gotcha.
Like
The
in the
previous
United
the previous vice president, a woman.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Awesome. That's good. That's good.
Yes. I
Yeah.
had no
So
idea.
yeah, I respect that.
And then they don't need all those politicians like the United States does.
We got just
You
as
know,
many.
we got
Don't you got a lot in
right.
the Congress? How many politicians y'all got in your Congress? It's a lot, right? Senators and
What you call Congress, how do you call it?
congressmen
Representative? Is that how you
Yeah.
call
and
it?
representatives and
And,
senators.
representative, you have a lot of women. The last time I checked, 35% of them there were women.
Okay.
How
In
many do y'all have total?
the representative, the last time I checked, it was over than 60,
But
because
35% is a
you
lot. You said it was a
you
little.
have you have
Mhm.
it should be more, because
Right.
you don't see them running for presidents or
Right.
Right.
big stuff. Senator, which is a little bit more complex,
Right.
women they don't want to go for it. They prefer to go as representatives.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I
No
understand.
one is blocking them.
Do they have
No.
It's
congressmen?
it's open.
Yeah.
It's open, but they
But
rather
senators
to.
more power, right?
They,
It's more power, and it's more complicated to win.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. You think it
Okay.
starts to get kind of dirty and under the table, like people doing favors for people when it comes
like
down
in the
to?
United
Like
Of
in
course,
States.
yeah, that's part of being a politician, brother.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
but
part of
the
politics.
higher you get, right?
The higher you get, the more responsibility, and if you have to benefit the private sector.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Politicians are controlled by the private sector. They're the one with the money. So you need the money to finance your campaign. Who's
Right.
going to give it to you? Private sector.
Yeah.
Here it is. You got the money. If you win, half of the country's mine.
I got you.
Uh-huh.
I noticed one thing I noticed in San Cristobal when I go, it was women police officers, and it was 50 women police officers. They were all in line at the bank, and they were standing in a straight line. I guess they just finished.
Getting paid. They were getting paid.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they get
Wow.
Police
paid.
officers, they all get paid on the 25th.
Oh, so they all. That's why they go get in line. And but I.
Yes, they were probably at the ATM or something like that.
No, these look like they had just finished like the basic
The
training.
academy. The
That,
academy.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
know what you're talking about,
yeah, and
because we have
it
we
was
have an academy here in San Cristobal.
and
Okay.
looks like they might have been opening up a bank account because they had just
Yeah.
became police officers, and but I had never seen that many women police officers in my life. It was like 50 of
How about the traffic, the police, the traffic, the police that control the traffic on the
them.
street?
Women.
Mostly, they're
Right.
women.
Yes, and they don't, and some of them don't have guns on them.
Well, some of them they don't. They do have one, but it's not mandatory for you to have it visible
Okay, okay.
when you are in the street. But let me tell you this:
Mhm.
the army, no, the marine, where you have
Mhm.
to be in the water. Women, they don't like it. I have a
Mm.
friend. I have a friend. He's a commander there, and I ask him, "Hey, you have a lot of women." You know what they say?
What's that?
They don't apply. They don't want it.
Water.
Right,
They don't want it because of the training or whatever.
right. Wow. Yeah. So it just depends on what they want. Hey, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, but Walter has one more question. We missed a lot of questions, but man, this was a great topic. We had a great time.
What happened to Rico? He left.
Yeah, he left. I think him and his wife were talking about something. So I just want to ask a question. I was born and raised in the Dominican Republic. We have never talked about race issues until I moved to the United States. That's what you was just saying. That's right. Yeah. And that's amazing. I was born in okay, he just said the same thing. But yeah, man. And I just want you to understand before I go. I want you to understand, brother. I appreciate you, but I love talking about my African roots. Do you understand what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that I don't want Dominicans to say, "Hey, stop talking about your Spanish roots." I just like to share the amazing African roots, and I just and that's what I love doing. So that doesn't have anything to do with racism. That just has something to do with education. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, but you understand that I'm telling you about cultures.
Yes, yes.
Right.
Yeah,
You have
and
really
Indigenous
educated, and yeah,
and white.
indigenous people. Yeah, and
exactly. So I just want you to understand why people think the way they think.
Yes,
yes,
I
man.
understand.
We totally understand, and you have really opened my eyes up to a lot.
Yes.
And even I went to some caves in San Cristobal, and I watched the indigenous people, and I see the carvings and the arrows and stuff like that. So you all have a lot of museum for indigenous people
If you
there.
go to a museum in the
Mhm.
state, you mostly are going to see African culture,
Right.
African history, right?
Yes.
So that's, I mean,
That's
we
and
all come from Africa.
that's right.
However, the history and what they teach you and how history impacted your culture and etc. That's how you, if you're raised in if you're raised in India, you are gonna believe in Buddha, you are gonna believe in this, you are gonna respect the cow. You, it all depends on the culture you're born.
That's right.
Even though they're Asians and they, like you and me, they have African in heritage,
Right.
they probably will not go deep in that. They will talk more about other stuff.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
But
Yes.
but John, I think you guys did. It's not fair to say that if you go to the museum here in America, it's going to talk about most. In the U.S., I will give the U.S. credit for one thing. They'll teach you all histories
Yes.
if you want to know. So we don't have just
It's
African
not.
history.
It's not always
white
been like that,
history.
though, Rico.
No, but I'm saying, but that's how it is today.
Right.
When I'm in Washington D.C., we got a museum to every goddamn nationality on the planet.
Right. Right.
Literally a complete, huge, total.
That's for fighting. That's because we had to fight for that, though.
Yes, exactly. We have a Native American museum, an African American museum, a Latin American museum, an Asian American museum, all of them. So you can learn whatever you want. If you choose not to learn it, then that's on you. But it's right there for the taking. So I just, I didn't want, man, well, I know you said it was like, it's not taught. No, they don't teach Afrocentric here. The reason why we know our history so much is we fought to know it. We fought to know it, even when it was back in school. They wasn't teaching us about Black history was once a month, and hell, they barely taught it then. We had to fight to learn it. So that's all I'm saying is that we would have grew up knowing nothing about white people.
Yeah.
We would have known nothing but white people because that's all they was teaching us in the schools. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and all that other. You might learn about one or two. We had to fight to go out to get the knowledge, to bring it into the schools to teach our children. And if not, our children aren't even learning it in abundance now.
And you know what I
We're
noticed?
in the household to be
Right.
proud to be black. The school ain't teaching them that.
Right. And you know what I noticed in before I wrap it up, but the Christopher Columbus, you guys don't even have a Christopher Columbus Day, but we have Christopher Columbus Day. But you all talk about Christopher Columbus different than what we talk about Christopher
We
Columbus.
can't stand.
Yeah, but you all don't really. He's a part of your history, but you guys don't you don't uplift him, do you? Do you?
Yes, they do.
Hold on. Let
Hold on.
That man
You have a day that is called Christopher Columbus. We call it El Día de la Raza, which is the discovery of America. Discovery, right?
Okay.
Which we celebrate it too, but we don't do it. We don't call it Christopher Columbus Day. We call it. It should be translated like the race day, when he came over here and he did whatever he did.
Right.
So we do not have tribute like for him, even though we have a status of him
Yeah.
in the city. We have streets with his name. We have Zona Colonial, which was created by them, not by him himself, but by the people after him, right? If you see the design of La Zona Colonial, that's very Spanish design, right? That they built it. That's what they did.
Right.
But it's not like we respect them, we respect the history, but it's not like people love Christopher Columbus.
Right. They
So
kind of
it's not like that.
in the United States, they kind of force us to like, hey, honor him. These are the people that we need to honor. Honor this person. Honor this person. And it's actually going away. It's a lot of states is kind of getting rid of getting rid of Christopher.
Let's say Martin, and before you wrap it up,
Mhm.
in the 60s, that was 2 days ago. You had Martin Luther King, right?
Right.
You have Malcolm X.
Right.
That was 2 days. They were fighting for. Still in the 60s, you still had transportation services for white people and transportation services for black people. That was yesterday.
That's right.
You had black colleges and white colleges. You had bathroom for this and bathroom for that. You have restaurants for black people, restaurants for white people. You have bars for white and black people in the 60s.
Right.
That was yesterday. And that's one of the things I think it's the topic of race. It's so sensitive and significant for USA identity. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, let me ask you a question about Columbus, though.
Go ahead.
And the only reason why I asked is because I went on the tour, and in the Capitol, is there not this entire huge multi-million-dollar tombstone built to Columbus?
Ooh.
Where is that located?
No, I don't think.
Oh, yeah, but that
And his remains are in there because
That's his house.
I paid for the tour. And
oh
the guy
yeah,
told us all
that's
that.
tourist. They left it. That was not built by
He said,
this generation.
not by this generation.
Exactly.
That was the Dominican government.
That was done there,
Right,
and they will leave it there because it generates a lot of money.
Right. I just want to make sure I'm accurate, right? So I'm like, I'm not gonna say, because they took us on the tour, and it was like, I was like, what? And he was like, and this is because they brought Columbus remains back from Spain to the DR, and they interred it there. They had a big celebration. So this big, huge, I don't know how much the government paid, monument is Columbus' tomb. They
do that for tourists. That's done for tourists.
We didn't go in it because I was like, fuck Columbus, whatever. That's how we feel about him.
You can ask to any Dominican. We do not celebrate Columbus. However, they do it for tourists, so tourists can see it. It generates revenue.
We need his remains in the United States. We'll show you what we'll do with them.
No, they brought him back. They brought him back there. So I was like, okay, let's be honest.
Yeah. That's awesome. Man, I want to thank both of y'all for do y'all have any final words? Brother Rico.
Yeah, you got some crybaby subs.
Oh yeah.
You got some crybabies.
Yeah, some of them. Yeah, we got some that kind of get offended, but
They cry. I was like, damn, they need to toughen up.
Some of these
Why
people,
they crying?
because
They
want-
just cry. You say boo to them, mama. They can't take no spirited debate because amongst us, we're all three men. We can have. I love spirited debates. I love that because that's the only way I learn. You know, I don't learn if everybody's agreeing with me. Disagree with me and push back. Like, oh, okay, well, I didn't know that. I was wrong. And I hope to be able to teach something.
Right.
You know? So that's it. That's where I'm from. See, look, they down there crying now. I talk a lot, whatever. Okay, don't listen. Shit. Go home. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's why I like you on here, man. But
I'll tell you this. He fucking invited me. Where your invitation at?
That's right.
If you ain't got me an invitation, shut up.
Hey,
Ask
bro,
me to come here.
when you gonna be back in the Dominican Republic?
Sunday.
Okay,
Wow.
good.
Look at him.
Right? See, they think I'm just talking out my ass. I'll be there Sunday.
And you got a house
for
there.
a whole week.
You got your house that you
I'll
own
be there
there.
the whole week. I'll be Turkey Day and everything from Sunday to the following Monday. So I'm like, I'm down there seeing it. They act like, because I fucking go every month.
And are you going
Celebrating Thanksgiving is not part of Dominican culture. We don't do that.
It will be. I'm starting that.
Yeah.
I'll be making it. and we'll be there. But you know what? I'll be there getting turned up in them on New Year's too. Because I know y'all do that. Don't tell me they don't celebrate New Year's.
Yeah, with a lot of alcohol, music.
They do a lot of music.
We get drunk.
Y'all
Yes,
get drunk
I'll
every
be
day
drunk with
anyway. You don't have to have a special day for
party
Dominican.
every day.
No.
Hey man, hey Rick, Manuel, you have anything before we go, man?
I really.
Oh, well, thank you for the opportunity of this healthy and educational debate.
Yeah.
I'm always up to a educational debate. Never if I disrespected any of the followers, my apologies. But everything I say is with facts, with the truth. I tell you why things are the way it is.
Yes.
Not why I think it should be this way. I'm telling you exactly. This is blue because someone came and did this, and that. So thank you, Rico, for teaching me a lot, and you, John, and Mom.
Yes.
And I'll say this: Manuel care about y'all feelings. I don't give a shit about your feelings.
Oh.
I don't.
That's right. That's why I have you on. Man, people love you on my stage.
Rico.
Like, you know what my mama told me? My mama used to tell me it's better pissed off than pissed on.
That's right. My mom will be there. She wanted to tell you thank you, Manuel, for helping her out.
I'll be there in about 2 months.
Oh,
And Mama,
you will?
did a great job with this young man. You did a great job with him.
Thank
John
you.
turned out all right.
Thank you.
All right. So
Manuel, make sure you take care of him when you get back there.
I will.
Thank you so much, both of you.
I'll see you in December.
If he doesn't let me take care of it, I will beat his ass.
There you go.
All right. Thank you.
All right, brother. Y'all take care.
Good night, y'all.
All right.
I want to say bye to all my subscribers. See you later, brother.
Yep.
All right, bye-bye.